I woke up to find myself inside a novel I had read before. In the story, there's an evil supporting character named Su-won, who shares my name. She was the fake daughter in a rich family, and the real daughter, Guyu, had just been brought back. The fake Su-won was being sent back to her poor biological family in the countryside. Before all this, I had criticized the book, joking with my roommate that if I were Su-won, I'd play my cards right and turn the situation around. But now, here I am, in her shoes, with a chance to prove it. The original Su-won didn't want to leave the rich family and begged to stay, but the foster mother firmly rejected her. In her despair, she cried so hard that she fainted and even coughed up blood. When I woke up in her body, I realized I'd been hit by a car back in my modern life and somehow ended up here. As I pieced things together, I remembered the plot. Su-won's real family, the Su family, is poor but has 5 brothers who become powerful figures later in the story. However, because Su-won in the original novel was so hateful and jealous of the true daughter, she alienated her family and met a tragic end. Now, I'm determined not to repeat her mistakes. I have a second chance to change everything. I'll mend my relationships with my brothers and take control of my own destiny. As I made this decision, I noticed that even the gold ring I had been trying on in the jewelry store came with me to this world. It felt like a sign, my starting point for turning things around. When the maid came in to deliver the foster mother's cold message that I had to leave, I didn't argue or beg. I simply agreed and began preparing to go. The maid seemed surprised by my quick change in attitude, but I didn't care. My focus was clear. I have a new life ahead, and I'm going to make the most of it. When I asked the maid for help with my complicated outfit, she reluctantly assisted me, clearly thinking I was useless and wondering how I'd survive in the countryside. I clutched the gold ring that had somehow come with me when I crossed into this world, determined not to let anyone take it. It was mine, not the Gu family's. After getting dressed, I walked out without taking anything else. The maid seemed surprised by my change in attitude, probably thinking I'd finally learned my place. On the way out, I was told my eldest brother from the Su family had come to pick me up. This news filled me with excitement. I remembered from the book that my eldest brother, Su Jing, was described as a refined and talented gentleman. As I left, I caught sight of a girl about my age standing in the courtyard, dressed in a pink outfit, with the Gu family's mother doting on her. I didn't need a closer look to know it was Guyu, the true daughter of the family. She was already stepping into her rightful role, while I, wearing a single plain outfit, left the Gu family behind without a trace. At the gate, I met my brother, Su Jing. He was tall, thin, and dressed in a worn scholar's robe, but he carried himself with dignity. The moment I saw him, I thought, he's just as elegant and kind-hearted as the book described. I smiled warmly and called out, "Big brother." His gentle, startled response made me feel at ease. When a servant offered to arrange a carriage for us, I declined. Now that I'm just an ordinary person, I don't need such luxuries, I said, eager to show I wasn't the spoiled girl they thought I was. Su Jing hesitated, concerned about the long walk, but I assured him I could handle it. To my relief, he didn't seem annoyed or judgmental. As we walked, I held his hand, humming softly, and felt surprisingly lighthearted. I knew the Gu family had chosen their true daughter, and I was just an unwanted shadow of their past. But instead of dwelling on the bitterness, I decided to look forward. My new family, the Su family, was poor but full of potential. I had 5 talented brothers, and I was determined to win their love and change my fate. Meanwhile, back at the Gu family, the mother was showering Guyu with attention and treating anything I had touched as tainted. The servants gossiped, dismissing me as if I no longer mattered. It stung, but I reminded myself that the Gu family's rejection was their loss. My story was just beginning, and I had every intention of making it a good one. As we left the city and reached the bumpy countryside road, I could feel my dress gathering dust, but it didn't bother me. I was in good spirits, even excited about starting this new chapter with my biological family. When we reached a fork in the road, I hesitated and looked back at my eldest brother, Su Jing. Big brother, I don't know which way to go, I said, sounding a bit like I was asking for help playfully. Su Jing smiled faintly and took my hand, his grip gentle and warm. He led the way, his tall figure radiating a quiet strength. I couldn't help but admire him. His resilience and responsibility were exactly as the book described. Walking beside him, I thought about my past life. Losing my parents young and being treated poorly by my relatives had made my childhood lonely. But now, I was stepping into a family with 5 brothers and parents who shared my blood. It felt warm and reassuring, even though I knew they didn't have feelings for me yet. I resolved to earn their acceptance and become part of the family. By the time we reached the Su family's village, it was dark, and the small lights scattered across the houses looked like stars. After weaving through narrow paths, we arrived at a modest bamboo-fenced courtyard with a simple thatched house. Inside, a large wooden table dominated the small room, clearly meant to accommodate the family's size. The food on the table had gone cold, and the atmosphere seemed tense. As Su Jing called out to our parents, I felt nervous but put on my warmest, most innocent smile. When my grip on Su Jing's hand tightened slightly, he noticed and reassured me gently, "Don't worry, father and mother are kind." His kindness made me feel even more grateful for this new life. When my parents came out, their figures were backlit, making it hard to see their faces clearly, but I greeted them sweetly. "Father, mother." They seemed surprised at my polite tone, having expected me to be distant or cold. My mother quickly stepped forward and took my hand. Her callous grip was rough, but kind. Though the interaction felt a little formal, it was a start. Inside, I finally saw my 4 other brothers sitting around the table. They were all sizing me up, and I did the same, trying to match their faces with the descriptions I remembered from the book. My second brother, Su Mu, stood out with his sharp fox-like eyes and cold demeanor. He was a quiet, logical type. I greeted him carefully, "Second brother." He glanced at me, slightly surprised by how friendly I was. "It's good that you're home," he replied politely. Next, I turned to my third brother, Su Chun, who was tall and strong from years of martial arts training. He had a bright, heroic look and seemed kind but a bit awkward. "Third brother," I said cheerfully. His face turned red, and he stammered, "Why you too?" He was clearly flustered but seemed pleased. Finally, I looked at the youngest brothers, Su Yun and Su Yen, the twins. They looked similar but had opposite personalities. Su Yun, the 4th brother, was fiery and straightforward, but right now, he seemed upset. "4th brother?" I called gently, but he avoided looking at me. I could tell he was struggling with a change. He had been closest to Guyu, the girl they thought was their sister before. Despite the mixed reactions, I remained determined. Winning them over wouldn't be easy, but I was willing to put in the effort. This was my family now, and I was ready to make it work. The atmosphere was tense, and I felt even more awkward when my 4th brother, Su Yun, openly ignored me. He refused to respond when I spoke to him, making it clear he didn't accept me. But I didn't let it bother me. If I didn't feel embarrassed, then the awkwardness was on everyone else, not me. Thankfully, my eldest brother, Su Jing, stepped in to mediate. "Su Yun, that's no way to treat your sister," he said firmly. But Su Yun, clearly emotional, got up abruptly, muttered that he couldn't eat, and left the table. His hurt expression didn't escape me, and I sighed internally. Winning over this brother was going to be the hardest. Seeing my discomfort, Su Jing tried to reassure me. "Don't worry, Su Yun will come around," he said gently. I smiled at him, grateful for his support. Then, I turned to my youngest brother, Su Yi, the 5th in the family. "5th brother," I greeted cheerfully. He gave me a warm smile and replied, "Wan, little sister." His tone was kind but carried a teasing edge, showing his sharp wit. At least one brother seemed easy to get along with. Dinner was a modest affair, highlighting the family's struggles. There was a small fish, some wild vegetable cakes, boiled sweet potatoes, and a single bowl of rice for me. Everyone else only had thin rice soup. My father apologized for the lack of food, looking almost ashamed in front of me. "Wan, the family is poor. This is all we could prepare. I hope you don't mind. I shook my head quickly and reassured him. I don't mind at all. I took a bite of the fish, smiled brightly, and said, "It's delicious. Everyone should eat too." My enthusiasm seemed to ease some of the tension, and I could see a small sense of relief among them. However, no one else touched the meat dishes. It was clear they were saving them for me, despite the longing looks they couldn't hide. My heart ached seeing this. Father, Mother, you work so hard. You need to eat meat to stay strong. I can't finish this on my own, I said, placing pieces of meat into their bowls. They protested, saying the food was bought especially for me, but I persisted. I even turned to my brothers. Brothers, you should eat too. You need energy to work and study. They hesitated, clearly torn, until Su Jing finally set an example by taking a bite. The others followed, unable to resist the rare treat. As the mood lightened, I got up and took Su Yun's bowl. Adding a few pieces of meat with clean chopsticks, I said, "Fourth brother hasn't eaten yet. Let's save some for him." My action surprised them. I could tell they hadn't expected me to be so thoughtful. Perhaps they had assumed I would be spoiled and demanding like the Gu family. By the end of the meal, I felt a small sense of victory. My efforts to blend in and show that I cared had softened the tension. Winning my brother's trust and affection would take time, but tonight, I had taken the first step. When I told my parents they couldn't leave the table until they ate the meat, they looked uncomfortable. I could see the guilt in their eyes. They'd been cold to me since I arrived, while I was trying to care for them. I didn't hold it against them. It was clear they had deep feelings for Guyu, the girl they had raised, even though she wasn't their biological daughter. My mother, trying to show affection, put some food in my bowl. "Thank you, Mother," I said sweetly. I knew they didn't have much, but I wasn't going to act spoiled. I grabbed a sweet potato to eat, which startled my mother.
"You don't need to eat that."
"We made rice for you," she said, clearly wanting to give me the best. But I insisted. I like sweet potatoes. They're delicious. I knew how hard life was for this family and didn't want to waste anything. Dinner went smoothly, aside from fourth brother Su Yun's earlier outburst. I ate everything on my plate, leaving a good impression, I hoped. Afterward, big brother Su Jing showed me to my room. It was small but cozy, and I had my own bed and cabinet. As the only girl, I even had a room to myself, unlike my brothers, who all shared one. Su Jing offered to fetch hot water for me to wash up. I told him to rest, since he'd been walking with me all day, but he explained he was on a break from the academy for the harvest season. I asked him to show me the kitchen instead, so I could familiarize myself with the house. When we arrived, my mother was boiling water, and the kitchen was smoky. She scolded Big Brother for bringing me there, worried I couldn't handle it, but I assured her, "I'm not a spoiled girl. I'm a farmer now, too." My words seemed to surprise her, but she didn't argue. Just then, fourth brother Su Yun returned, heading straight for the kitchen to find food. He grumbled when he saw Su Jing carrying the hot water for me, accusing me of being spoiled. Su Jing immediately defended me, saying it was normal to take care of their little sister. The argument escalated when Su Yun brought up Guyu, insisting she never got this kind of treatment. Su Jing calmly but firmly reminded him that Guyu was now living a life of luxury and didn't need their help. Later, I learned that the meat Su Yun had just eaten was the portion I'd saved for him. When my mother told him this, he froze mid-bite, clearly caught off guard. It was the first time I saw a hint of change in him. Maybe, just maybe, I was starting to make progress with my most difficult brother. Su Yun couldn't just spit it out now, he was so angry. Later, when Su Jing saw that the four brothers had returned to their rooms, he prepared to have a good talk with them. "Stand up and sit down, I have something to say to you." After all, he was the eldest brother, and he was still very intimidating in front of his brothers. Facing his four younger brothers, he was no longer as gentle as usual, and his face was serious. The eldest brother rarely cared about what they did or said, but whenever he was so serious, he must have something serious to say. The brothers did not dare to slack off, and they all got up from the Kong and sat side by side. The room was not big to begin with, and it seemed very crowded for 5 brothers to live together. Their things were all piled together, and there was no place for 2 more people to step. "Brother, do you want to talk about Suwon?" Sumu had already guessed it. Although he was dull, he had a delicate mind and observed things very carefully. When he heard that it was about Suwon, the 4th brother Suyun was unhappy and pouted. Jing nodded, pulled a stool, and sat down. "Old 4, be serious." He looked at Suyun quietly. Suyun felt the oppression and didn't dare to have any bad expression anymore. He sat upright. Jing then started to get to the point. "Wonwon has not lived with us since she was a child, so it is normal that we have no feelings for her. However, it is not her fault that she and Yaya exchanged identities. She was a newborn baby at the time and was not the mastermind of this matter. Don't treat her as a sinner, especially you Suyun. As far as I know, she did not provoke you. Although Yaya grew up with us, she is Gu's child after all. We still treat her as a sister, but Wonwon is also our sister and has the same blood as us. I don't ask you to pamper her too much, I just ask you to treat her equally." She and Yaya have just exchanged back. Their lives have changed dramatically, and they need to adapt slowly. Wonwon has never suffered from hardship since she was a child. She grew up in luxury. If she does something wrong, I hope you can tolerate her.
Can you do it?
Jing glanced at his 4 younger brothers one by one, hoping to hear a satisfactory answer. "Brother, I understand what you said." Mayan expressed his attitude concisely. He couldn't be intimate with Suwon now, but he didn't hate her. "I think Suwon is pretty good. She doesn't have the temper of a spoiled young lady. I have no problem with her. After all, she is my biological sister. Chun is a very simple person. He doesn't have so many twists and turns. If he likes her, he likes her. If he doesn't like her, he doesn't like her. Even if he doesn't like her, he won't hurt her. What's more, she is his own sister. Sister Wonwon is well-educated and well-mannered. Madame Gu taught her very well." Su-yi smiled very gently with curved eyes. He is the one that Jing is least worried about. Su-yun, the older twin brother, glared at Su-yi when he heard this, thinking that this traitor had forgotten what Yaya said that day. Su-yi gave him a harmless smile. Seeing his resistant expression, Jing frowned unhappily. "Su-yun, what about you? I don't reject Suwon's return, but I can't shake Ya's position in my heart," Su-yun said very firmly. Later, he realized how painful it was to be slapped in the face. Jing was helpless. He knew his 4th brother's temper and didn't ask him to change his attitude all of a sudden. He looked like a bad-tempered person, but in fact, he was the easiest to break. Everyone who was familiar with him knew it. "Okay, go to bed early. We have to get up early to work tomorrow morning. The rice harvest at home hasn't started yet." During this period, they were busy with Suwon and Guyu's affairs. Other families in the village have already harvested the rice. The lights in the 2 rooms of the Su family yard were turned off early. Everyone in the family was very frugal. After all, kerosene also had to be bought with money. Except for Suwon's room, which was still lit with a dim oil lamp, she had just come to this world and was not used to everything. The hard Kong had been covered with a quilt for a long time, and there was still the smell of Guyu on it. She carefully sorted out her memories and the plot in the book. She must get the recognition of the Su family. At least if the heroine doesn't like her in the future, there will be someone to speak for her, right? She was half asleep and half awake all night. She woke up as soon as the rooster crowed the next morning. It was dawn outside. Su's father and mother had already gotten up and started to make a fire to cook breakfast. The Su family eats very simply. In the morning, they eat cornmeal pancakes. The cornmeal is ground very coarsely, so the pancakes are also very coarse. They scoop a handful of rice to cook porridge and heat up the leftover sweet potatoes from last night. Considering Suwon, she needed a little white flour and made a few white flour buns. There were no chickens in the family, and they couldn't even take out eggs. After all, there was not enough food for the family, so where would there be extra food to feed the chickens? Usually, they were reluctant to eat pure white flour buns and only had 2 grain buns, which were made of a small amount of white flour mixed with cornmeal. When Soo-won opened the kitchen door, Sue's mother thought it was her son, who got up. She said without even looking at him, "Mom is cooking this morning. You study hard every day. Why do you get up so early?" Sue's mother thought it was her eldest son. It wasn't until Soo-won sat at the door of the stove that she realized it.
Won?
She looked shocked. She obviously didn't expect it to be Soo-won. She was a young lady who didn't do housework on weekdays. At this moment, she was wearing the patched linen clothes left by Guyu. Her shoes were also Guyu's. The size was just right. Her hair was braided into a whole pigtail hanging on her chest, simple but playful. Last night she was still wearing a beautiful skirt, and her hair was also very delicate. If it weren't for her fair and delicate skin, she would be no different from an ordinary rural girl. "Why are you so surprised, mother?" Soo-won looked at her with a smile. Sue's mother was stunned by her own daughter's smile, and it took a moment to react. "No, Won got up so early. Why didn't you sleep a little longer?" "I got up because I couldn't sleep." Soo-won picked up the fire tongs on the ground and moved the already burned firewood inside with skillful movements. "Your father can take care of the fire. You go and take a rest. You probably aren't used to the country life, so you can't sleep." Sue's mother subconsciously felt that Soo-won's delicate little hands were not suitable for this kind of work. Besides, she usually lived a life of luxury, and her quilts were all made of silk. It was understandable that she couldn't get used to sleeping on the earthen kong at home. Sue's mother tried to grab the fire tongs, but Soo-won dodged them. She felt that Sue's mother was too sensitive and too cautious. The more she acted like this, the more unfamiliar she seemed. She was more like a guest than her daughter. "It's just a fire. Don't underestimate me." Sue's father had just returned from the toilet. When he entered the kitchen and saw Soo-won, he was stunned for a moment. He stammered and couldn't speak. Soo-won took the initiative to greet him. "Good morning, Daddy." She showed what she thought was the sweetest smile. An old father would not be able to refuse a smile like that from his daughter. Indeed, Father Soo, a grown man, has been in the village for a long time, but he has never seen such a pretty girl. Although Guyu is also good-looking, she is not as stunning as Soo-won. In comparison, Guyu is at most a beautiful girl from a small family, pretty and lovely. Especially since this little girl is his own daughter, calling him daddy in a soft voice, he suddenly feels very proud and enjoys himself. Who in the village has such a well-behaved and sweet daughter? "Hey, Won, get up, go wash up, Dad will watch the fire." Being a father is not so unfamiliar. Soo-won feels much better. Father Soo sees that she is so down to earth and thinks she is a good girl. Mother Soo gave her a basin of hot water and a clean towel to wash her face. Soo-won carried water to wash in the yard. There was a big vat in the yard. He scooped cold water to mix it. The door to the west suddenly opened. Soo-jin got up. He changed into a gray short shirt with pudding. Without a robe, he was less elegant and more simple. Soo-jin saw the girl washing her face in the yard at a glance. The handkerchief was still steaming and completely covered her face. For a moment, he thought it was Guyu who came back, but Soo-won was taller than Guyu. "Brother." Soo-won called him from the center of the yard, with curved eyebrows and deep dimples. Soo-jin couldn't help but smile when he saw this smile.
Yeah.
Soo-jin looked at her from head to toe, and Soo-won also looked down at herself. "Brother, why are you looking at me like that? Don't I look good?" "It looks good, very suitable." She looks good in anything, but what he meant by suitable is the right size. Of course, the brighter the Soo-won dresses, the more stunning she looks. "Did you sleep well last night?" The brother and sister talked in the yard. "Very good." One after another, the other brothers of the Soo family also got up, all rolled up their sleeves, and prepared to go to work after dinner. Soo-won greeted them one by one, and they all responded, but their attitudes were not very intimate. Soo-yi said a few more words. Sister Won got up so early, so diligent. Fifth brother got up early too. The second brother, the third brother, and the fifth brother were all quite surprised to see her changes. They didn't expect that she would still like the old clothes left by Guyu. Soo-yun was the last one to come out of the room. He was also stunned when he saw Soo-won because those were Guyu's clothes. As a result, Soo-won turned around to greet him, and his smiling face immediately fell. Fourth brother, why are you wearing Yea's clothes? He questioned as soon as he opened his mouth, and Sue's father and mother came out from the kitchen. Sue's father severely reprimanded Soo-yun. Yun, how do you talk to your sister? Hurry up and apologize to Won-won. I just asked her why she wore Yea's clothes.
I didn't say anything.
Soo-yun was really overbearing. Soo-won came back empty-handed yesterday. Didn't he notice? But his tone was indeed a bit bad. Won-won didn't bring anything back. If she doesn't wear Yea's clothes, whose clothes should she wear? Soo-jing said with a gloomy face. Soo-won came back yesterday and wore the clothes she was wearing. She took off all the hairpins and jewelry on her head and didn't ask for anything from the Gu family. Soo-won was still smiling, not angry at all, but she had already started to think in her mind. Fourth brother, what does Miss Gu want? Hairpins, jewelry, silks, satins, delicacies from the mountains and the sea. Everything is available. The Gu family is the richest family in Qinghe County. When she returns to the Gu family, she can just say she doesn't want the things I have used, but I can't. If I don't pick up her clothes to wear, how can fourth brother let me go out and meet people? She was telling Soo-yun the difference between him and Guyu now. Guyu has everything she needs now, and he doesn't need to worry about her food and accommodation. Besides, even if these clothes continue to stay, she won't like them. Anyway, it's just to provoke him. Guyu will never return to the Soo family again. She will return to this courtyard, but she will not return to the Soo family to continue to be Soo-yu. Wake up as soon as possible. You are talking nonsense. What she is most worried about are us brothers. Soo-yun disagreed when she heard that Guyu would not come back and immediately retorted, his eyes red with grievance. Of course she'll come back, but her surname will always be Gu, not Soo. I really envy Miss Gu. Even if she goes back, there are so many people who will miss her. Unlike me, after Mrs. Gu knew that I was not her biological daughter, she wanted to send me away immediately. Soo-won began to talk in a teasing manner. It is very effective to make people feel distressed appropriately. Sure enough, the tone of green tea is very pitiful. Look, everyone in the yard is paying attention to the last sentence. Won-won, your fourth brother can't speak. Don't argue with him. Soo-jing saw that Soo-won was in a bad mood, so he hurried to comfort her. But Soo-won continued, Mrs. Gu said that I have occupied Miss Gu's life for more than 10 years, and I should feel content. She also told me not to hang around Miss Gu, so as not to make her sad. She said that when she saw me, she would think of her Yaya who had lived a hard life in the countryside for so long, and she would feel unbalanced. Soo-won acted very sad. She was not lying. Madame Gu had said all these words, especially after she saw with her own eyes the environment in which Guyu grew up. She blamed herself for discovering it too late and letting her own daughter continue to wander outside. The more she thought about it, the more unbalanced she felt, and she even disliked the original owner. And the original owner was also hurt so much by these words one after another that she couldn't hold it back and got so angry that she died. Everyone was silent at this time. On the surface, she was the beneficiary of the good life she had lived for more than 10 years, but in comparison, she was more aggrieved than Guyu. It was obviously someone else's fault for the identity swap, which made her like a sinner. Both sides disliked her and didn't like her. She was obviously a victim, so why did everyone dislike her? Seeing this, Soo-won continued to strike while the iron was hot. If I hadn't been swapped, maybe I could have such a good relationship with my parents and brothers. Her aggrieved tone made Sue's father, mother, and several brothers feel sad, and Soo-yun suddenly felt guilty. Everyone looked at Soo-won, and Soo-won tried hard to raise a smile, which was bitter and helpless, making people feel even more distressed. In the end, it was Sue's father who took the initiative to speak. Yaya has returned to the Gu family. She will have no worries about food and clothing in the future. You don't need to worry. Her parents will love her very much. Now Won-won has also returned to our Soo family. She is the only daughter in our family. Except for us family members, no one will support her. I hope you can take good care of Wanwan when your mother and I are not at home. Sue's father and mother were under great pressure to raise 6 children, so they both worked outside. Sue's father was a miner in a coal mine, and Sue's mother was a cook in the coal mine. The couple worked in one place to support the family. Because the children had to go to school, the couple worked for a wealthy family in the county in their early years. Later, after their daughter was born, they returned to the countryside. During this period, Sue's father had been doing hard labor outside. He was originally a handsome young man, but he was forced to become a rough man by life. Sue's father's dark skin did not show the handsomeness of his youth. Over the years, the children studied and got sick from time to time, which cost money, so they owed a lot of money. Less foreign debt. The same is true for Sue's mother. When she was young, she was a great beauty. Many landlords wanted to marry her as a concubine, but she chose love. Now she is weathered and her hands are full of calluses. Because she has been working in the kitchen for a long time and has been in the smoke and fire, she is only 40 years old now, but she looks like an old woman in her 50s, with wrinkles all over her face. Now we are just waiting for Su Jing to have a good future. If he passes the exam, even if he is a Jiren or a Jinsher in the top 30, the family's life will be much better. Usually, Su Yun cooks at home. He is very talented in cooking, has many ideas, and dares to try boldly, so he has great attainments in cooking. Dad, Mom, don't worry, as the eldest brother, I will treat Wanwan well. Third brother, your second brother and I are in the county on weekdays. You are the eldest in the family. You must treat Wanwan well. Su Chen, who was suddenly given an important task, felt that he became very important at this moment, and then nodded solemnly. Brother, I understand. Su Jing had to go out to study and would only come back once or twice a month. Su Mu worked in the county clinic and came back every 7 days. He was paid 200 coins a month, which was 2 taels of silver. Because he was an apprentice, his monthly salary was not high. He had only been away for a year, and the money he earned every month was used to subsidize the family. There were only the 3rd, 4th, and 5th children at home. The 3 of them had to take care of the house and the family's farmland. They studied from the age of 6 to 14 and had no problem with literacy and arithmetic. They were not interested in imperial examinations, and it would be too much pressure on their parents to continue studying. Suyin was silent for a long time. He suddenly didn't dare to look at Su Wan, his face flushed. Although you look pitiful, yeah, I still treat her as my sister, and that won't change. Humph. Su Yun threw down a sentence and went into the kitchen arrogantly, but his tone was much softer than before. Su Yi kept smiling, and Su Wan was wondering, would he get laugh lines if he smiled like that all day? Sister Wan, why are you looking at me like that? He narrowed his eyes with a smile. Of course it's because 5th brother is handsome. Su Yi was only 15 years old, and his face was still childish, but he was really handsome. Su Wan knew from reading the original book that he was the most gentle and thoughtful of the 5 brothers. Many things could not escape his eyes. He knew everything and could always ask questions directly, making it impossible for people to refute, but he was also very sensible. One could only sigh that those with squinting eyes were monsters. Sister, Wanwan is really good at talking. Su Wan was the only one who had white flour buns for breakfast. There were only 4 in the basket, and Su Wan divided them into 8 portions, just enough for each person. Before they could refuse, Su Wan said in advance, a family should learn to share, and everyone should eat delicious food together. She, who was used to a life of luxury, was actually willing to eat sweet potatoes and wild vegetable cakes with them, and she did so with relish. It might be because she had eaten too many delicacies from land and sea, and they found them fresh, but she might get tired of them after a while. After the meal, Sue's father and mother had to go back to the mine to work. The family did not have enough food for the whole year, and basically they had to spend money to buy rice, noodles, and oil. Every year when the children grew taller, they had to buy cloth to make new shoes, and the sons had to save money to marry wives. It was really tight. Wanwan, your father and I are going out for a while, and will not be back to see you until the end of the month. You stay at home and listen to your brothers, and wait for your mother to come back and buy you delicious food. They always say this to Guyu before going out, and now they say the same to Suwon. This habit cannot be changed.
Suwon nodded obediently.
After Su's father and mother left, the 5 brothers had to go to the fields to work. After harvesting 2 acres of rice, they had to thresh the rice and then dry the threshed rice for a few days before husking it together. They each took a sickle, and Suwon certainly couldn't be a lazy ghost. When she came back, she had to work and be down to earth, so as to make a deeper impression on her brothers. Do you have any more sickles? I will go to harvest rice with my brothers. Facing Suwon's question, the 5 brothers looked at her at the same time, and they didn't quite believe that she could work in the fields. Won, there are only 5 of us to harvest the rice. The weather is too hot, you just rest at home. Even Su Jing didn't quite believe that she could harvest rice. She was not even as tall as the rice. Su wanted to know what he was thinking. If she knew, she would probably be very dissatisfied. How could it be so exaggerated? She was still much taller than the rice. It's just that in the Su family, there is no reason to let sisters go to the fields to work. Don't go and make trouble for us. If you stay there, you can't stand it and you'll have to come back yelling. If you get heat stroke and faint again, the family won't have the spare money to hire a doctor for you.
Suyun pouted.
He still disliked Suwon a little and felt that she would only make things worse. 4th brother, do you look down on people? Suwon pouted her lips in dissatisfaction. She looked so cute. It's not that I look down on you. You are the only girl in the family. How can the 5 of us brothers be a decoration? Is it your turn to go to the fields? Even Yaya has never gone to the fields before her. Su-yun was telling the truth. Sister Won, your skin is delicate, so don't get tanned or sunburned. When our parents come back, they will probably blame us brothers for not taking good care of you. It was Su-yi who spoke, and Suwon didn't know how to refute. In the end, Suwon was left at home. The sun in September was very scorching. Working under such a sun, the wheat ears stuck to her body, making her feel itchy and red all over. It was very uncomfortable. Since her brothers insisted on not letting her go to the fields to work, she would cook at home and clean up the place at the same time. Anyway, she had to let them know that she was not a delicate lady. After walking around the house, she found a large clump of wild licorice growing behind the Su family's yard, also called rock sugar grass. Because its roots were very sweet, it tasted sweet licorice when boiled in water. The weather is hot, and people are working under the sun. Drinking some sweet water to replenish sugar can prevent heat stroke. There is a well in the village, and everyone draws water there. The book says that Guyu always misses the sweet and cool well water every time she returns to the countryside. After boiling, take it to the well to calm it, and then send it to the brothers to quench their thirst. Boil the licorice water over high heat for 10 minutes. The color of the water is like light tea. Although it tastes very strong of grass roots, it is sweet enough. Find a clean small water jar to fill it, then close the door of the fence and go to find a well. She is unfamiliar with the place, and she doesn't know which way to go when she goes out, but she heard the sound of spring water on the way back with Su Jing last night, so Suwon went to the right with the jar. They came back along the path on the right last night. Suwon had a good memory and could still find the path they took last night. The Su family's yard was at the innermost part of the village, built at the foot of a mountain. There were not many neighbors around. In front of the house was a large vegetable field. It was originally barren, but was later reclaimed by the villagers to grow vegetables. No one knew which field belonged to their family. There was a large ridge above the vegetable field. Crossing the ridge to the opposite side, the houses here began to gather together, side by side. Almost all of them had the same yard as the Su family, but some were bigger, some were smaller, and there were very few blue brick and tile houses. At this time, most people had gone to work in the fields. There was only one person in the village. Groups of children were chasing each other and playing. Those over 8 years old had gone to work. The most common sounds were the crowing of chickens and the barking of dogs. The poplar trees on the roadside were filled with the chirping of cicadas. In the distance were endless green mountains, some high, some low, verdant and verdant. This is the most primitive pastoral scenery, fresh air, the fragrance of the earth. As soon as she arrived here, there were many winding paths, crisscrossing each other. Suwon couldn't find the direction. She had overestimated herself. A shepherd boy of 7 or 8 years old came toward her. He was driving 7 or 8 sheep and preparing to go up the mountain. He was holding a long whip made of straw in his hand. The sheep were calling as they walked, and they also pulled small brown sugar pearls along the way. Suwon stopped him and prepared to ask for directions. "Little boy, where's the well in our village?" It was the first time for the shepherd boy to see such a fair-skinned girl. She looked so pretty when she smiled, and her voice was so soft when she spoke to him, which made his ears a little red. He lowered his head and did not dare to look at her, then pointed in a direction. "Go straight along this road, and you'll be there after turning a corner." "Thank you." After getting the answer, Suwon continued to walk away holding her water jar. The boy looked at her back and thought to himself, when did such a beautiful girl appear in the village? How come he never knew about it? There is a big tree next to the well. The trunk with lush branches and leaves just covers the well below. There is a gurgling spring water gushing out from the cracks in the rocks. The villagers have dug a square puddle here. The whole village comes here to fetch water to drink. Everyone cherishes this spring water and never throws garbage into it. If you want to wash clothes and vegetables, there is a river not far away. Several elderly people are sitting under the tree to enjoy the cool. Everyone in the family has gone to work, so these old people gather here to gossip. Suwon walked over uncomfortably, facing the gazes of everyone, and some people have already started whispering and pointing.
See?
This is the biological daughter of the Su family. She has been a rich lady in Mr. Gu's family for more than 10 years. Then, isn't Suyu a lady in the Gu family now? Of course not. She is the biological daughter. Madame Gu rushed to the Su family to pick her up the other day. She looked down on their family and said that they were poor. Now you can't call her Suyu, you have to call her Miss Gu. You look down on country people just because you have a few bucks. But the Su family was poor to begin with. They gave birth to so many sons and sent them all to school. Don't you think this is asking for trouble? Other families can't give birth to sons no matter how hard they try, but Su Yang is different. She is sure to have one son in her life. When she first married into the Su family, she was so skinny that she didn't have any flesh on her body. She didn't look like someone who could give birth to a son. But look at the result. These old women were so sour in their words. But it is true that Su's mother gave birth to 5 sons, and she is a legendary figure in the village. Many people who can't give birth to sons are so envious. When Suwon approached, they stretched their necks to look at her. Suwon raised her face awkwardly with a smile. "TSK, TSK, TSK, this little one looks much better than Suyu. I said at that time that Suyu didn't look like a biological child. That nose, eyes, eyebrows, none of them look like Su family members. Look, I was right, this one looks like a biological child. That's right. I don't know what good deeds the Su family has done. The babies they gave birth to are more handsome than each other. The key is that these children in their family are all hardworking. Oh, let's not talk about it. Now her surname is Gu. Why is she still called Suyu?" They were whispering there without avoiding Suwon at all. Suwon put the water jar in the corner of the small pit.
There was a deep pit on it.
This was a shallow pit, just covering the jar, leaving only the top opening. The water was very cool, and it was very comfortable to put your hand in the water. At this time, someone took the initiative to talk to her. "Girl, are you the biological daughter that Su Qingshan just brought back?" "Yes, Grandma." Suwon turned to look at the old woman who came over and squatted next to her. She looked like a gossiper. "Oh, this little girl is so pretty. Which girl in this village has such a good appearance? When you smile, it's like eating honey. The children raised by rich families are so delicate. Look at her tender hands, so lovable." She took Suwon's hand and looked at it and touched it. There were countless wrinkles on her face. Suwon pulled her hand out of her hand, still smiling awkwardly. "What's your name?" At this time, several aunties came over and surrounded Suwon, and she was deeply in the center of gossip.
Suwon.
"It's so nice, Suwon. Your family is really good at naming, much better than those flowers and plants in our village." The aunts smiled and nodded, savoring it carefully. The family is literate. Of course they know how to give names. Su family girl. What's in your jar? Why did you bring it here? To keep it as a balance. Everyone's attention was on the small jar that Su-won brought. My brothers are out working. It's hot, so I'll give them some cold tea to keep them as a balance.
Su-won answered honestly.
You are such a thoughtful girl, much more diligent than that lazy girl Su-yu. You care about your brothers as soon as you come back. Su Ching-shan is so lucky. Several aunties, grandmas, and grandmothers took turns praising her like nothing. There were also a few old men sitting under the tree. They didn't like gossip, but they were grinning. Su-won stood up and left quickly. Grandpas and grandmas, I'm going back first. She squeezed out of the crowd, then quickened her pace to go home. Those eyes followed her until she disappeared, and then they started to whisper to each other in their own places. Do you think that Guyu is a conscientious person? Now that she has become a phoenix, does she know how to help her parents? She should. The good days of the old Su family are coming. Any money the Gu family gives out is enough for them to have no worries about food and drink for the rest of their lives. Besides, Su-won has been in love with Madame Gu for more than 10 years. It's impossible that she brought nothing back to her, right? I don't know. I went to watch the fun that day. Madame Gu looked down on the Su family in her words and deeds. She said that they should not rely on their relationship with her daughter to get benefits from the Gu family. She said that no one owed anyone anything, and they should not have any contact in the future, for fear of having such poor relatives. And look at Su-won's dress. Doesn't it look like he brought money back? I'm afraid he was kicked out by Madame Gu. An old lady pointed out these details incisively. When the others heard this, they kept clicking their tongues and secretly cursed Madame Gu for being heartless and stingy. Everyone had their own opinions, and their statements were not unified. There was an old woman in the crowd whose triangular eyes were rolling around, and no one knew what she was thinking. Su-won returned to her own yard, and a thin layer of sweat had already appeared on her forehead. She could not see the sun, so she could only estimate the time based on her intuition. The room on the west was where her brothers slept. Su-won pushed the door and walked in. The quilts on the kong were neatly folded. Su-won took out their dirty clothes and took out a wooden basin to soak them in water. The sweat smell on them could be used to distinguish whether they were clean or dirty. There was a large basin of clothes for the 5 brothers. There was no soap for washing clothes in this era. The rich families had soap beans, and the rural people used wood ash. They could only remove the sweat smell. By beating with a wooden stick, it was considered clean, as long as there was no sweat smell. It would be great if there was soap, she thought silently in her heart. Making soap was also quite simple. All you need is lard and wood ash, which will produce a saponification reaction. Taking advantage of her free time, Su-won walked around the house carefully and found that the family was really poor. Apart from some necessary furniture, there was no decent object. The furnishings inside were also very simple. There were holes in the cracks in the wall. The sunlight shone in and cast a few circular shadows on the ground. Moreover, the furniture in the house was very old and tattered. She swept the yard with a large bamboo broom and swept the land inside and outside. Su was thinking about making something for her brothers to eat at noon. With the conditions at home, rice was definitely not enough. She found a few pumpkins in the cellar and decided to steam pumpkin rice for lunch. Pumpkin was sweet and filling. There were also a few bags of sweet potatoes and potatoes in the cellar. She would use the potatoes to make some pancakes. She remembered that when she came back, there were still a lot of purslane on the ridges. She would pick some purslane and bring it back to eat cold. As soon as he said, Su-won went out with a small basket and picked a basket of purslane. He picked and washed them, cut the pumpkin into small pieces, and cut the potatoes into shreds. The preparations were almost done. The river was not far from home. He took the clothes to the river to wash them and hung them in the yard after returning. Then he had to go to the well to get licorice water. There were fewer people by the well. They probably went home to cook at this time. There were still a few uncles sitting there chatting. He ran away after getting the water. Su-won didn't know where the brothers were working, so he could only ask people. To the east of the village was a large golden rice field, and people were busy working in their own fields. Su Wan asked all the way before he got to the place. Everyone was confused when they saw this strange and beautiful girl. Someone asked her who she was, and she generously said that she was the daughter of the Su family. At this time, the 5 brothers were sweating in the fields. Su Yun was tired and sat on the ground complaining, "I forgot that our Yaya was not here. I didn't bring water to the fields. I'm so thirsty." Usually, when they went to the fields, Guyu brought them water to drink. Now that Guyu was gone, they all felt that Su Wan didn't have this awareness. "Remember to remind me in the afternoon. I'll bring it," Su Jing said, while cutting rice. He was not an ordinary weak scholar who only knew how to read and write. He was born in the countryside and still had a lot of strength. "I'll go back and get some water." Su Yi threw down the sickle in his hand, mainly because he was thirsty too. "Brother!" A girl's cry came from not far away. Su Jing looked up when he heard the voice, and the other 4 brothers followed suit. The sunlight was dazzling and they couldn't see clearly until Su Wan got closer and closer to them. "Big brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother, fifth brother. I'm here to bring you water." Su Wan ran out of sweat. She was holding the jar of water and panting. The strands of hair on her forehead stuck to her face. "Wan, how did you know we were here?" Su Jing threw down his sickle and came to take her jar of water. "Big brother, it's not like I don't have a mouth. I can find out by asking. It's so hot today. The brothers must be thirsty. I brought you water." Su Chen, Su Mu, and Su Yi glanced at Su Yun, who was just complaining. Su Yun's face became hot. "Why are you all looking at me? Didn't you expect it?" He stood up and took the bowl covering the jar and poured water out to drink. He found that the water was actually yellow, and there were some tree roots in it. "Su Wan, where did you get the muddy water?" Su Yun poured out the water in the bowl without hesitation. Everyone was eagerly waiting to drink the water. "But, fourth brother, this is not muddy water. This is licorice water. It's sweet. I took it to the well and stabilized it for a long time before bringing it to you to drink." Su Wan pouted and explained unconvincedly, why did he always think so badly of himself? "Nonsense. How could I not know that there are sweet grasses in this world? Will you get a stomachache after eating it?"
Su Yun continued.
"Su Yun, how dare you talk like that?" Su Jing scolded in a deep voice. Su Mu heard the sound, walked up and snatched the bowl from Su Yun's hand, then poured out a bowl of water for himself, put it under his nose and smelled it, then raised his head and drank it in one breath. "No, second brother, are you that thirsty?" Su Yun admired his courage very much and was not afraid of getting diarrhea after drinking it. The cool licorice water tasted very sweet when it went down the throat. It instantly dispelled the heat and dryness in the hot September. Su Mu was a little surprised. He glanced at Su Yun lightly. "Shut up." Then, Su Mu poured the second bowl of water and drank it all. After drinking it, he wiped his mouth happily. "This water is indeed sweet. It's licorice root." Su Jing laughed, took the bowl and drank a bowl, with the same expression as Su Mu, and drank 2 bowls in a row. Then Su Chen and Su Yi drank heartily, leaving Su Yun with a dry throat. "Fourth brother, you really don't want to drink it? It's sweet." Su Yi smiled and licked his lips. "I don't believe it. Is it really that delicious?" Su Yun said he hated it, but his body was upright. After he took a sip himself, he just held the jar and started drinking. "Fourth brother, leave me a sip." Su Chen reached out to grab it. He harvested the most rice and had the most strength, so he was naturally the thirstiest one. No more, I'm done." Su Yun drank it all in one breath, and not a drop of water could come out. Su Wan was so proud to see him being slapped in the face, thinking, "Little guy, can I beat you? It seems that I have to boil 1 more pot tomorrow, otherwise it won't be enough for my brothers to share." Su Wan smiled and showed a few white teeth, which was very cute. Su Jing also smiled and looked at her. He wiped the sweat from her forehead with his sleeve and said gently, "Wan is so smart. How did you know this method?" "Brother, I just read a few books, so I remember it, but if you ask me why I know it, I can't tell you specifically." How can she explain this? Anyway, she just knows it. It tastes very good. Wan is thoughtful. Su Jing touched her head, just like an ordinary brother touching his sister's head. But this action made Soo-won feel very warm in her heart. She lacked family love since she was a child, and she really wanted to have family care about her. The brothers were all reluctant to leave. Soo-yun licked the corner of his lips, still with a proud look on his face. He picked up the sickle again and went to cut the rice. It would take at least 3 days to cut the 2 acres of land. Soo-jing looked at Soo-won helplessly. Won, do you remember the way back? It's too hot outside. Go home and rest quickly. Wait for your brother to come back and make lunch for you.
Soo-won nodded. I remember.
She picked up the empty water jar, waved to her brothers, and then went home along the path she came from, looking back every few steps. Looking at her little figure going away, Soo-yi smiled and said to his brothers, "Sister, Won is different from what we imagined." They have always thought that Soo-won must have a daughter syndrome, but now it seems that this is not entirely true. This is the case for the time being. Soo-moo remained silent. Soo-chin nodded in agreement, and only Soo-jing smiled with satisfaction. So, when judging people, you can't just look at the surface, and you can't be self-righteous. The licorice water was liked by his brothers. Soo-won returned home in a good mood and started to make lunch. There was not much flour left in the bag. He scooped out a small bowl and diluted it with water. The conditions were like this now, so he must not be too extravagant. Put the shredded potatoes in and stir evenly. It was enough to coat them with noodle soup. Add salt for seasoning, brush oil in the pot, only to find that the oil in the oil tank was empty. He searched around the house but didn't find a drop of extra oil.
Soo-won sighed helplessly.
The Soo family was really poorer than he thought. A large piece of pumpkin cut into cubes and mixed with a small bowl of rice was steamed in a pot. Porcelain was blanched with water and some vinegar was added. Just mix it and it's done. There's no pepper, so there's no choice but to heat up the cornmeal cakes left over from the morning.
Done.
The 5 brothers Soo-jing came back from the field and smelled of fragrance from afar. Soo-yun was still sniffing and sighing, whose family's cooking smells so good. When they returned to the yard, they found that the fragrance actually came from their own home. There was smoke rising from the chimney at home, and there were clothes hanging on the poles in the yard. Whose clothes could it be if not theirs? After being baked by the sun, they were almost dried. Soo-won heard the sound and ran out of the kitchen. She was still wearing a gray apron. She wiped the water on her hands and said with a smile, "Brothers are back. You've worked hard. Wash your hands and eat." He picked up a wooden basin and filled a basin of water in the jar for them to wash their hands. The 5 brothers were already stunned. "Sister Won, did you wash all these clothes?" Soo-yi pointed to the clothes on the pole and asked, "What are you saying, Brother Woo? Is there anyone else in this family besides me? My parents left early this morning. Could it be that my 5th brother forgot?" Soo-won explained with a smile, looking very playful. Soo-yun ran over and ripped the clothes that were almost dry with his hands, checking them from front to back. How can you wash clothes without touching spring water? Don't let it be not clean in the end, and we have to wash it again.
Soo-yun doubted Soo-ane's execution ability.
He had a big sister filter for her and felt that she could not do things well. "4th brother, why do you question me about everything I do? If it was Miss Gu who did these things, I'm afraid you wouldn't say so."
Soo-won was aggrieved.
Soo-yun choked when he heard it, not knowing how to explain. "I just think that you are a big lady, and you have so many maids and old women serving you. How could you condescend to wash clothes?" Well, the more this guy explained, the more confused he became. "Okay, 4th brother, are you done? Won is so kind. It's fine if you don't appreciate it, but you always find fault with me. I can't stand it." Soo-chin couldn't help but come out and say something fair. Soo-yun couldn't refute. "4th brother, apologize to Won. You were indeed wrong," Soo-jing said to Soo-yun with a serious face. Soo-yun gritted his teeth and realized that he was in the wrong. "I'm sorry, okay, but you did all this just to replace Ye's position in our hearts. I want to see how long you can last." Soo-yun didn't look like he was apologizing. He was still making specious arguments, hurting Soo-won's heart over and over again. But Soo-won was not angry, but laughed instead. "It doesn't matter whether 4th brother likes it or not. I only do these because I regard you as a brother. Since you can't accept it, it can't prevent me from being good to the other 4 brothers. Soo-yun is the typical person who is hard to deal with. Isn't his purpose just to see me jump up and down and show my bad face, so that the little good impression I have built up will disappear? Little guy, I don't get what you want. Soo-yun punched the cotton, and he got himself mad. Soo-moo watched Soo-won's expression change quietly, and then looked at Soo-yun, whose face was flushed with anger, thinking that the new sister, although young, had very clever means. Interesting. Everyone came to the dinner table, on which were bowls of potato cakes, golden in color, cooked at just the right temperature, without any burnt spots, and the pumpkin rice and water were just right, making the steamed rice sweet and full. Soo-yun, who thought he was very good at cooking, was amazed to see the flawless potato cakes. Even he couldn't fry them to such a level. Wan, did you make all these? Soo-jing looked at Soo-won and asked, feeling that his cooking skills were better than the 4th brother. If it wasn't made by me, could it be made by the snail girl? Soo-won was really puzzled. Why didn't they believe in anything she did? But it was true. In their eyes, girls from rich families were all women who had never done housework, but it didn't matter. She would slowly change their views. Eat quickly, you're tired from working. Soo-won wanted to serve the meals to them one by one. Soo-jing thanked him. When it was Soo-moo's turn, he just refused lightly. No, I'll do it myself. Soo-won, you've worked hard to cook. We'll serve it ourselves. Soo-chin also politely refused, and Soo-ee naturally didn't need to say more. The 6 brothers and sisters got along well and were very polite. Except for the 4th brother, who couldn't accept the sudden change of sister, the other brothers, apart from being very unfamiliar, did not show any resistance to her. Soo-yun reacted so strongly for some special reasons. In addition, he was not very old, only 15 years old, and spoke more directly. He might not have thought about hurting Soo-won's heart at all. He still couldn't accept that his sister, whom he had loved since childhood, was gone suddenly. Moreover, before leaving, Guyu specifically asked him if he didn't like her, the old sister, any more because he had a new sister. Soo-yun saw that she was so aggrieved, and he felt very distressed, and promised her that he would never let the new sister surpass her position in his heart. Finally, there was only Soo-yun left. He watched Soo-won serve a bowl of pumpkin rice with his eyes wide open. He originally thought that she would pass it to him, but Soo-won sat down with the bowl in her arms. Soo-yun, who was treated differently, was almost angry to death. He silently clenched his fists. This Soo-won must have been sent by God to mess with his mentality. Sister Wan, this potato pancake looks delicious. Soo-ee said with a smile. What's the point of looking delicious? It's better to taste delicious.
Soo-yun du fleshlich habetatst.
Yaya never cooked at home, and her cooking was not good. He was the best cook in the family. What delicious food could Soo-won, the eldest daughter, make?
Soo-won ignored Soo-won's ridicule.
She picked up a potato pancake for Soo-jing. Brother, try it and see if it tastes good. Thank you, Wan. Soo-jing took the bowl and handed it over. Brother, you are polite. Soo-jing took the first bite of the potato pancake, and his eyes suddenly lit up. This potato pancake was soft, sticky, and fragrant, with just the right amount of saltiness and no burnt smell. It was the best pancake he had ever eaten, and it tasted better than those sold outside. Whether it was the appearance or the taste, it was great. Everyone looked at the eldest brother expectantly, especially Soo-yun. Seeing Soo-jing frown, he knew that the taste must be unsatisfactory. It's delicious, you guys try it. Soo-yun's face almost fell after these words. Upon hearing this, everyone took a piece of potato cake and started eating. They took the first bite carefully, but after that they started to speed up and gobble it up. Although no one spoke, it seemed that they all knew it was delicious. Soo-yun took a piece and ate it in disbelief, then looked at Soo-won meaningfully, and Soo-won also raised an eyebrow at him. How is it possible? How could she, a grown-up girl, cook such coarse food, and cook it so well? The pumpkin rice was very sweet. They rarely tried this way of eating, and they found it very fresh. Each of them ate 2 bowls of pumpkin rice, 2 potato cakes, and the refreshing and delicious porcelain was also eaten up. Soo-yeon didn't even come back to his senses. The food on the table had been eaten up, more clean than ever before. There was not a grain of rice left in the pot, and Soo-won just slowly finished a small bowl of pumpkin rice and was full. Soo-yi held his stomach and looked at Soo-yeon and joked, "Fourth brother, it seems that there is finally someone in the family who cooks better than you." Hearing this, Soo-yeon glared at him viciously. "Shut up. These two twin brothers do not have the love and tacit understanding that twins should have. They dislike each other and have liked bickering since they were young. When Sue's mother was pregnant with them, she had a big belly and had to endure violent fetal movements. The bulges came one after another, which was scary to look at. After dinner, Soo-won began to clean up the dishes, but Soo-jing held her hand. Won-won is already in charge of cooking. Leave the dishes to your brothers. Soo-yeon, you wash them." Soo-yeon was feeling depressed and was suddenly assigned a task. His eldest brother said nice things, but he didn't wash them himself, and then he turned around and gave him the job. "What's going on? Why should I wash it? Obviously you all eat more than me. Because you look the least tired. You have worked for a whole morning and still have the energy to find fault. If you don't wash it, who will?" Soo-jing said seriously.
Aft. Soo-won laughed unkindly.
Her elder brother was avenging her.
Seeing Soo-won's resentful thoughts, Soo-chen and Soo-yi licked.
Even the taciturn Soo-moo curled his lips rarely.
"What are you laughing at?"
Soo-yeon saw Soo-won laughing like a flower and stood up proudly and took the chopsticks from her hand. "I'll wash them." The sun was the hottest at noon, so the five brothers had to rest at home for a while before continuing to work in the fields. Soo-won boiled licorice water so that they could drink it in the afternoon when they went to work. The brothers all went back to their rooms for a nap, but Soo-won couldn't sleep in his room. The Soo family was penniless, and they had to think of ways to improve their living conditions. The spring examination will be held in the beginning of next spring. Soo-jing needs a large amount of money to take the exam. In the original book, Soo's father worked in the mine day and night to raise money for him, but he was crushed by the collapse of the mine. The accident made the already poor Soo family even worse. Soo-jing gave up the imperial examination again. At this time, Guyu came to help the Soo family despite her family's obstruction, solving the urgent need of the Soo family. At that time, Soo's father urgently needed life-saving money, so he accepted the money given by Guyu. Afterwards, Soo-jing couldn't get over this hurdle in his heart. After he became a higher official, he treated Guyu well at all costs. As the heroine in the book, whenever the Soo family was in trouble, Guyu would come to help. They will appear at the right time and then solve the trouble, making her position in the hearts of the Soo family as solid as a rock and unshakable. Thinking of this, Soo-won didn't dare to think about it. If she couldn't get the sincerity of her brothers, would she be unable to change her tragic fate in the future? Soo-won took out the heavy gold ring from under the pillow, thinking about pawning it, but then she thought it was inappropriate. She had just returned to the Soo family, and the relationship was loose at the time. Moreover, the sons of the Soo family were all strong-willed. If she pawned the ring, they might think that it was the silver brought back from the Gu family. They would not use it but would think it was an insult to them. Forget it, there is still half a year left. As a modern person, can she not survive in ancient times? This gold ring was something she brought from modern times, and it was also a thought. It could not be taken out and used casually unless it was absolutely necessary. In the afternoon, the five brothers continued to go to work. Soo-won prepared 2 jars of licorice water for them, which should be enough to drink. "It's sunny outside, brothers. You have to wear your straw hats tightly." Each of them wore a straw hat, and their clothes were patched and stained with mud, and the colors had been washed and faded. Who would have thought that they would all become big bosses in the future? Soo-yeon looked a little depressed and was not as energetic as he was in the morning. It should be because he had just woken up. Won-won, just wait for us to come back to cook dinner in the evening. You have just come back, so adapt to life in the countryside first. Don't think that you will feel burdened if you do nothing. The daughters of our Soo family are meant to be spoiled. You have so many brothers, just like you. You just need to stay at home every day and grow up safely and happily. Soo-jing felt that although Soo-won had returned to the countryside and her life was not as good as before, They would not let her suffer or be wronged. It's just cooking, I'm not tired, brother, don't look down on me too much. Soo-won didn't want to be a lazy person. Being diligent was also a way to adapt to life in the countryside. Moreover, she couldn't take it for granted when they told her to rest. She still had to be conscious to be likable. We re-leaving? You be good. Su Jing touched her head. Soo-won watched her brothers go away. During this time, Soo-chin looked back and saw that she was still standing at the door. Seeing that he looked back at him, she waved at him. Soo-chin turned around and couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Until the brothers had completely disappeared, Soo-won was ready to go back to the room. From the other end of the road, the laughter of girls came. 3 girls passed by the Soo family yard. The one standing in the middle was a slightly older girl, about 16 or 17 years old, and the other 2 were about the same age as Soo-won. When they saw Soo-won, they stopped at the same time, one of them carrying a basket covered with floral cloth. Soo-won also looked back at them. Are you brother Sue's biological sister? The girl in the middle looked at her and asked with a kind smile on her face.
Soo-won.
When she touched her pretty face, the disgust on her face became more and more obvious. Soo-won didn't know where he had offended her. It was obviously the first time they met. What's your name? The sister in the middle asked her again. Soo-won answered her questions honestly. After several conversations, he learned their names. The 3 of them were girls from the village. The one in the middle was called Hee-jalon, the daughter of the village chief. September came, and there were many pine mushrooms growing on the mountain. They went to the mountain to pick pine mushrooms together, intending to pick more and sell them on the street. Speaking of Chening-hong, Soo-won knew her. She was Guyu's playmate and close friend since childhood. Later, she became Guyu's personal maid. Guyu married her to a guard in the male protagonist's mansion. Her marriage life was unhappy. Her man, she is addicted to gambling, and the book only briefly describes her ending. No wonder she can't stand herself so much. It turns out that she is fighting for Guyu, but Guyu is now a young lady, and the change of identity has nothing to do with her. Why is she so malicious? However, after talking for a long time, Soo-won's attention was mostly on the pine mushrooms they picked. When she heard that they could sell them for money, she got excited. She is just short of money now, a lot of money. So, she went up to talk to Hee-jalon with a smile on her face. Hee-jalon also has a role in the original book. She is the admirer of the eldest brother Soo Jing, but her courtship is fruitless. One is that her status is not worthy of her later, and the other is that Soo Jing doesn't like her. Sister Jalon, where did you pick your pine mushrooms? She spoke softly, and her voice was very pleasant. Hee-jalon, a girl, couldn't stand it and couldn't refuse. Sister Soo-won, there are many pine trees in the mountains near our village. These pine mushrooms grow under the pine trees. It rained some time ago, and now they are all out. Why are you asking this, Sister Soo-won? Do you want to pick them too? Soo-won nodded immediately after hearing this. Yes, Sister Jalon, I want to go too, but I just came back, and I'm unfamiliar with the place. I don't know how to get there. If you want to go, we will go up the mountain again tomorrow morning, and you can go with us. Hee-jalon invited Soo-won to go with her without saying a word. She knew that Soo-won was Soo Jing's biological sister, and she wanted to have a good relationship with her if not for anything else, so that she could see Soo Jing more often in the future. But Chening-hong was unhappy when she heard this, and she pulled Hee-jalon's sleeve. Sister Jalon, why did you bring her along? Look at her hands, they are so tender. Does she look like she can work? The road on the mountain is not easy to walk on, and she will be unhappy if she doesn't take a few steps. Then she will hold us back and delay our work. Ing-hong, Sister Soo-won will be from the same village as us from now on, and you are of similar age, so it's only right that you take care of her in everything. It's precisely because she can't do it that we have to take her with her. Hee-jalon explained to her patiently. Her words gave Soo-won a good impression. Sister Jalon, why are you so kind? Forget it, take her with you if you want. Anyway, I won't take care of anything. Chening-hong went back first with the basket in a huff. Hee-jalon looked at Soo-won helplessly. Don't mind it, Sister Soo-won. Ing-hong is just such a straightforward person. She doesn't have a bad heart. It's okay, then we have a deal, Sister Jalan. When we go to the mountain tomorrow morning, remember to call me to go with you. Suwon didn't care about Chen Hong's opinion. She didn't care. Anyway, her goal had been achieved. After talking to He Jalan for a few more words, the two sisters went back together. Suwon found that He Jalan was still talkative, but her sister didn't say a word. In the evening, she continued to steam pumpkin rice, fried potato cakes, made steamed cornbread, fried some shredded cabbage to go with the rice, and took out a small bowl of pickled radish from the jar. The sun was setting, and Su's 5 brothers came back. Suwon boiled 2 pots of hot water for them to take a bath. When Su Jing came back, he found that Suwon was still the meal was ready, with good color, aroma, and taste. Water had been drawn for them to wash their hands. They were so well behaved. Suyun was silent and did not provoke Suwon again. Maybe he was taught a lesson by his elder brother and became obedient? While eating, he savored the food made by Suwon carefully. He did not expect that an ordinary steamed cornbread could be made so beautifully, which made people's appetite improve. Suwon did not understand why he had so many micro-expressions while eating. Sometimes he frowned, sometimes his brows relaxed, and sometimes he looked at the steamed cornbread in his hand and fell into deep thought. It was just a steamed cornbread. How could you see the flowers? The battlefield was cleaned very cleanly. Su-chin couldn't help but burped after eating, which made Suwon laugh secretly. Yaya didn't cook much at home before because her cooking was really average, so every time they came back from work exhausted, they had to cook. It was so good to have a meal as soon as they came back. The kitchen has boiled hot water. Brothers, go wash up quickly. You must be itching after cutting rice all day. Suwon noticed that their necks and hands were all red, probably because they scratched themselves with their hands. In this weather, the brothers were originally going to just go to the river to wash, but Suwon's kindness was too much for them to refuse, so Suyun was the only one who went back to the room to get clothes and go to the river. In the room, the clothes washed during the day were neatly folded and placed at the head of the bed, and you could still smell the scent of the sun on them. Su-yi, do you want to go to the river together? Suyun thought, these 5 people are queuing up to wash, and I don't know how long they will have to wait. Okay, if 4th brother is afraid of the dark, I'll go with you. Suyun couldn't help rolling his eyes after hearing his high-sounding excuse, and he let you play the blame. Sister Wanwan, 4th brother and I are going to wash in the river, while the eldest brother, 2nd brother, and 3rd brother will wash at home because we're afraid there won't be enough water. Su-yi was thoughtful after all. He explained clearly and told Su-won not to think too much. Su-won was comforted and finally stopped thinking too much. The water tank at home was empty. After Su Jing and others took a bath, they each carried a bucket to the well to fetch water. They were used to doing these farm work since they were young. The 3 of them carried 2 buckets each and filled the 2 water tanks at home. Suwon was the last to take a bath. Everyone took a bath casually and just took 2 buckets of water to rinse casually. Gui was different. Her parents made a bathtub for her to take a bath, and now it became Suwon's. After she finished bathing, the oil lamps in her brother's rooms had been extinguished. She didn't sleep well last night, and she did some work today. She lay on the bed and almost fell asleep. The next morning, when Suwon woke up, it was already bright. Several brothers had already gone to work. The fire in the stove was still burning, which meant they had just left. The pot was still warming up her breakfast, a bowl of sweet potato porridge and 2 steamed buns made of 2 grain flour. Halfway through her meal, He Jialan came with a basket. Sister Suwon, are you okay? Let's go up the mountain early and come back early, otherwise we will suffer in the hot sun. I'm coming. After simply cleaning up the dishes and chopsticks, Suwon also found a basket and closed the bamboo fence door. Sorry, I kept you waiting. Let's go quickly. I have to come back to cook for my brothers at noon. Suwon turned around and saw He Jialan and her sister and Chen Inghong standing there. Chen Inghong still had a sour face and looked down on her. Cut it out, you re the only one cooking, can you eat it? Seeing that her eyes were not eyes and her nose was not a nose, Suwon didn't intend to spoil her. I didn't ask you to eat, you're too nosy. You, Chen Inghong, cheeks puffed up with anger. He Jialon saw this and hurried to act as a peacemaker. All right, it's getting late, let's go. She stood between the two of them, blocking the electric atmosphere, and the four of them walked towards the mountain together, but Chen Hong's look of disdain for Su-won did not change at all during the journey. The nearby mountains are full of towering pine trees. Today, He Jialon took Su-won to the foot of a mountain to pick pine mushrooms. The mountains close to the village have been almost picked. Fortunately, it is the busy farming season now, and no one in the village has time to pick pine mushrooms, so they thought about picking mushrooms for some pocket money. Of course, it is not worth much. Sister Su-won, let's go pick them separately. I will call you from time to time. Remember to promise me that our village is remote. Don't go deep into the mountains. There are wild beasts in the mountains. It's not safe. When they reached the foot of the mountain, the four of them had to act separately, but they could not go too far. They had to stay within each other's sphere of influence. There were wild animals in the deep mountain market nearby, including wolves and black bears. I know, Sister Jialon. Su-won picked up a long branch and began to look for mushrooms seriously. She was lucky. Every time she swept away the fallen leaves, she could find many large pine mushrooms underneath, but she always remembered He Jialon's instructions. He Jialon called her from time to time to make sure they were safe. Soon, her basket was full. The mushrooms were fragile and could not withstand squeezing, but there were still many that had not been picked up in front. Su-won thought about continuing in the afternoon. She was careful and used branches to cover the fallen leaves on the ground. She was just narrow-minded and was counting on these pine mushrooms to make money. Sister Su-won, are you okay? He Jialon, who had picked up half a basket, was puzzled to see Su-won suddenly appear in front of her. Well, I have to go back to cook for my brothers, so I have to go first. Do you remember the way back? Remember. The way to get here is to walk along the road in front of her house all the way inside. It will take half an hour to get there. Okay, then you go back first. Your brothers are all working in the fields. You are the only one at home. I don't know what happened today. There are so few pine mushrooms in this area. I'm afraid they have been picked. Look, there are only so few after such a long time. He Jialon said as she showed her the pine mushrooms in her basket. After a quick look, there were indeed not many, and they were all small. How are yours? She glanced at her basket. She was afraid that it would wilt in the sun, so she covered it with rags. I have a lot over there. You can go and have a look. Look, I picked a lot. Su-won is not a selfish person, and he still can't deceive others for his own selfish reasons. Besides, He Jialon is a good person and she doesn't want to deceive her. At most, she will come again in the afternoon and go to another place to pick them. It was almost noon when she got home. Su-won took the pine mushrooms to a cool place and quickly washed her hands and cooked. What should I eat for lunch? Cook some white porridge, make some steamed buns, and stir-fry some side dishes. It happened that I picked fresh pine mushrooms today, which is just right for stir-frying mushrooms. It's just that without meat, the taste of the mushrooms will be a little worse, but the freshness is what I like to eat. The brothers had a hot meal when they came back, and they knew how to cook licorice water themselves. Today they changed the way they did it, with white porridge with a few side dishes and 2-grain steamed buns, which were very fragrant. This morning, Su-yeon saw that Su-won was late to get up and thought she could only hold on for one day. In the morning, he complained to Su-jing that she couldn't even do her superficial work well, but she was slapped in the face at noon. Won, where did you get these mushrooms? Su-jing saw an extra fried mushroom on the table and wondered who in the village gave it to her. This morning, I went to pick pine mushrooms with Sister Jialon, her sister Jiaoxing, and the girl named Chen Hong from the village. We agreed on it yesterday afternoon. They said they could take it to the market to exchange for some money. I saw that there wasn't much food left at home, so I thought about picking some and selling it at the market another day. Su-won explained obediently, smiling sweetly, with clarity in her bright almond eyes. The brothers were all stunned when they heard it. They originally thought that she had the temper of an older lady and couldn't bear hardships or work, or that she only knew how to eat and play every day and would dislike their family for being poor. Even Su-yeon thought she was pretending. Won, once the millet is husked, we will have food to eat. You don't have to think about making money to supplement the family. After the busy farming season is over, we brothers will naturally find a way. Su Jing was the first to react. He felt a little sorry that Wanwan had to endure all this as soon as she came back. That's right. We men will make money to support the family. You don't have to do anything. Even Su Mu, who was always taciturn, spoke up. Su Yun curled his lips. Do you look down on us men? We are still alive and well. Why do we need you to make money to support the family? Yaya never cared about these things before. Su Wan would feel annoyed when he talked about Yaya all the time, no matter how good his temper was. But I don't think it's so outrageous to change my life with my own hands. Isn't it hard to understand that people want to change their living conditions? As long as it's not stolen or robbed, isn't everyone working hard to survive? Faced with everyone's doubts, Su Wan was actually quite annoyed. I said, I'm not a rich girl now. My previous life has nothing to do with me. The current life is what I want to experience. I don't need to have exactly the same life as Guyu. She is her, and I am me. How she was before is her business, and how I am now is also my business. Please don't compare me with her. I don't want to be unable to escape the name Guyu in my life, okay? Su Wan said angrily, then got up and left the dinner table. She had to make things clear to them, so as not to always compare herself with Guyu and let herself live under her shadow forever. She knew that it was still a very distant thing to completely conquer these brothers, so far away that she couldn't see the end, but she didn't ask their world to become hers all of a sudden. She could take it slowly. Half an hour later, Su Jing came to knock on Su Wan's door. She didn't eat lunch today, so he brought Su Yun to bring her lunch and apologize. Wanwan, are you asleep? How could Su Wan sleep? But after such a while, she was no longer angry, so she opened the door quickly. As soon as she opened the door, she saw Su Jing and Su Yun. Brother, is there something wrong? You didn't eat lunch, so we came to bring you food. Wanwan's cooking skills are very good. Thank you for the compliment, brother. Su Wan took the food from his hand. Su Jing pulled Su Yun with his hand, indicating that he should apologize. Su Yun was not as reluctant as before, perhaps because he realized that he had spoken too harshly, or perhaps because Su Wan's words made him feel uneasy. I'm sorry, Su Wan. I shouldn't have spoken so harshly. No matter what you do in the future, as long as it doesn't harm this family, I won't say anything about you casually. I accept fourth brother's apology, but I will continue with the matter of picking pine mushrooms. Su Wan was not really angry. She just felt aggrieved for herself at that time, because no matter what she did, in their eyes, it was for their own good. Wanwan, we won't stop you if you want to go, but you have to pay attention to your own safety. There are many wolves and tigers on the mountain. We are worried that you will encounter danger if you go to the mountain alone, so we spoke a little harshly. Since you insist, we will not stop you. Just be sure to pay attention to safety. Do you understand?
Su Hing repeatedly reminded her.
We only have 1 day left for our rice. The day after tomorrow morning, let your fourth brother accompany you to the market to sell it, okay? Su Yun, who was suddenly assigned a task, widened his eyes. He pointed at his nose, with a puzzled look on his face. Why me? Any of them is more suitable than me. Isn't the eldest brother afraid that he will say something wrong again and make this little ancestor unhappy? Since you are sincerely apologizing, you must be sincere. I will give you a chance to reform and accompany Wanwan well. If she loses a hair, I will hold you responsible. Su Jing did it on purpose. Su Yun is the most lively one, so if the two siblings spend more time together, their relationship will naturally improve. Su Wan also noticed it. She pursed her lips and wanted to laugh, but she held it back. Okay, it's settled. Wanwan, you should have a good rest after eating. We should also take a rest for a while. Without waiting for Su Yun to resist, Su Jing dragged him away directly, and the final word was given. Su Yun knew that he couldn't control his mouth, and he was really afraid that he would say something wrong. In the afternoon, almost as soon as the brothers left the house, Su Wan went to the mountain with a basket. She walked farther this time. She didn't know if she was lucky. She went out with 2 small baskets full. She would come back to pick for another day and sell them the day after tomorrow morning. She didn't delay the cooking time. The atmosphere for dinner became better in the evening. Soo-yun remained silent the whole time. He was still very pleasing to the eye when he didn't speak. Soo-won thought to herself, what a good-looking handsome guy has a big mouth. On the last day, the Soo family's rice was finally harvested. They took the millet off the ears and then put it all back home in baskets. The next step was to dry the millet. The brothers finally didn't have to go to the fields anymore. They were exposed to the wind and sun. Everyone was visibly darker. Their faces were fine, but their necks were darker, but it didn't affect their appearance at all. In the afternoon, Soo-won continued. She continued to pick pine mushrooms. She had been stockpiling them for 2 days and had already filled 2 baskets. She would sprinkle some water on them every morning, noon, and evening to keep them fresh. She would try harder this afternoon and try to sell them at a good price tomorrow. She had already agreed with Hee Jalan that they would take the village ox cart to the market to sell mushrooms early tomorrow morning. The place she came to today didn't seem to be very prosperous. She had been picking for a long time, but only got a small basket. Soo-won thought, why not walk inside a little more? She couldn't be so unlucky that she would just happen to encounter a wild beast. With a fluke mentality, Soo-won walked in boldly. Sure enough, there were a lot of pine mushrooms inside. Hee Jalan said that pine mushrooms are the freshest in the first half of the month, and after that they will become old. She was having a lot of fun picking them by herself, and suddenly there was a noise next to her. A wild boar rushed out from the bushes and came straight toward Soo-won. Seeing this, Soo-won's pupils suddenly dilated, and she reacted subconsciously and ran away. Oh my gosh! What bad luck! I was hoping for the best and thought I wouldn't encounter any wild beasts, but I ended up encountering one. I don't know what kind of luck I had. The wild boar was chasing me relentlessly from behind. There was a trap in front of me, covered with many branches. Soo-won could tell at a glance that it was a big pit, so she quickly braked and rolled to the side, stopping right on the edge of the trap. The wild boar obviously didn't brake, and then fell headfirst into the trap. All the branches were pressed down by it, and there was a 2-meter deep pit below. Dust was flying all over the sky, and Soo-won was covered in dust and coughed non-stop. The pine mushrooms in the basket had all fallen out, and the basket in her hand was also crushed by her, and the only surviving part of the pine mushrooms in it had been crushed to pieces. Hunter Jeong caught up from behind and saw this scene, and immediately went over to help Soo-won up. Girl, are you okay? Did you fall anywhere? Soo-won felt a little pain in her knees, but other parts of her body were fine. However, it was one thing for a wild boar to suddenly jump out of the forest, but now a person suddenly jumped out. I'm fine, who are you, uncle? She looked closely and saw that it was a bearded uncle. Although he was over 40 years old, he had handsome features. Soo-won patted the dust off her body and looked at the uncle in front of her with some helplessness when she saw her deflated basket. The uncle knew he was in the wrong and touched his nose. I'm sorry, I'm a hunter from a nearby village. I just found this wild boar in the mountains and accidentally bumped into the girl, causing her to fall. Did you chase this wild boar here? She really thought she was unlucky and encountered a wild boar as soon as she arrived. She looked at the trap. The wild boar fell into it and was still howling inside, but its voice was weak. Yes, I have been waiting for this beast for a few days, and I just caught it today. I didn't expect that I almost hurt you. Are you really not hurt? Looking at the teenage girl, Hunter Jeong always felt that her eyes and eyebrows resembled that of his apprentice. He was also very familiar with the nearby villages, but he had no impression of having seen this girl before. Her knee was only slightly scratched, which was not considered an injury. She couldn't use this to blackmail others, could she? It's okay.
Soo-won picked up her basket.
The pine mushrooms inside had been crushed, but fortunately the basket was straightened and could still be used. When Hunter Jeong saw the pine mushrooms, he knew that she was here to pick them. If he hadn't scared her by driving the wild boar, she wouldn't have fallen. Girl, you're here to pick pine mushrooms, right? I know how many there are. Come with me. Soo-won looked at him warily when she heard the voice, fearing that he would deceive her. Hunter Jiang should have known what she was thinking, so he smiled and said, "Don't be afraid, girl. I'm Hunter Jiang from Yangao. People in the nearby villages know me. Isn't Yangao the village where she lives?" He said he is Jiang the hunter from Yangao. Isn't he the master of the third brother Suchen? He is a peerless master with an extraordinary status. It's such a coincidence that we can meet each other. What a coincidence, uncle. I'm also from Yangao. Suwon felt that he couldn't miss this opportunity to curry favor, so he smiled brightly. Hey, that's strange. I have lived in Yangao for more than 10 years. Why haven't I seen you? Jiang the hunter thought, Yangao is such a small place, and there are only a few families. Why haven't I seen this girl? I am the new biological daughter of the Su family. The original one was a lady from the Gu family in the county. I have been back for a few days. It's normal that you don't recognize me, uncle.
Shuwan introduced herself.
Her family was the only one with the surname Su in Yangao, and she wanted to make herself familiar in front of the big boss first. The Su family had just found their daughter, and Jiang the hunter knew it. He had heard about the matter of the real and fake daughter that caused a lot of uproar in the village. His apprentice was busy with the autumn harvest these days, and he hadn't seen her. Unexpectedly, he ran into his sister first. It is said that this girl was the apple of Mr. Gu's eye, and the Gu family was the richest in the county. Now it seems that this girl is very simple. A rich lady came to the mountain to pick mushrooms. How interesting.
I see.
To express my apology, I will take you to a good place. It is simply the nest of these pine mushrooms. He didn't act like he was familiar with the Su family. He was called Su-chun to hide his identity.
Shuwan understood everything.
She only knew that Uncle Jiang was a big boss, but his identity was not mentioned in the book, so she didn't know. So she followed Hunter Jiang to the good place he mentioned. Sure enough, it was like poking a nest of pine mushrooms. There were pine mushrooms everywhere. Uncle Jiang also helped her pick them up, and soon made up for the pine mushrooms she lost. The old and the young talked as they walked. Hunter Jiang thought that this girl had a good character from his short time with her. He always had a sharp eye for people. There were still a lot left to pick, but the basket couldn't hold them, so she could only come back another day. After thanking Hunter Jiang, Suwon went home to cook dinner. When she came back, her brothers had already started a fire at home. She didn't say a word about what had just happened. Su-yun cooked in the evening. While eating, he kept asking Suwon if it tasted good, but aren't porridge and pancakes made the same way? What's the difference? It's just the appearance. But Suwon still said it was delicious, better than what she made, so Su-yun let her go. The next morning, Su-yun was forced to follow Suwon to the market reluctantly. Today was the market day. Old Hongtu at the entrance of the village was waiting with a bullock cart early in the morning. They would go in the morning and come back at the same time in the afternoon. He Jialan was already at the entrance of the village with her burden, and there was also Chining Hong. Her burden was carried by her family. She watched Suwon coming from a distance and wanted to mock her, but she didn't expect that Su-yun was following her. Chining Hong didn't dare to speak immediately. She blushed and lowered her head, looking at Su-yun with her heart beating wildly, and the girl fell in love for the first time. Su-yun, a straight man, didn't know that. He silently put the burden on the bullock cart and compared it. His pine mushrooms were fresher than those of He Jialan and Chining Hong, and they were even bigger. It's just the 4 of you. Pay the cart fare first, 2 cents per person. We will return home at 3 p.m., so you can wait for the time. In this dynasty, 100 coins equal 1 tael. Su-yun paid 4 coins, and she felt so distressed. Usually they walked to the county, but this girl was delicate, and her elder brother was afraid that she would suffer, so he insisted on taking her on a bullock cart. These 4 coins could buy a lot of food for several meals. When the bullock cart was on the road, He Jialan started talking first, asking Su-yun if the rice had been harvested at home. Some of the crops were 7 or 8 miles away, but Su-yun just perfunctorily answered them. Finally, she asked when Su-jing would return to the courtyard, and her face flushed uncontrollably. Su-yun was old. She answered truthfully, saying that there was still more than half a month left. Her eyes lit up, and Suwon noticed it. Chun Hong on the side also kept stealing glances at Su Yun, even through Su Wan. Her eyes were sometimes admiring and sometimes disgusted, while Su Wan was thinking about how to sell out the pine mushrooms as soon as possible. Everyone on the ox cart seemed to be thinking about something. When they arrived at the market, everyone found a stall and started to set up their stalls. Su Yun was quick-witted and He Jialan and the others followed suit and set up their stalls nearby. However, Su Yun was very strong and said bluntly, "You two should find another place. How can you do business if you put your stalls together?" He Jialan and Chun Hong looked a little embarrassed, but they still stood up, carried their burdens and left, and found another place to set up the stall, not far from them. He Jialan began to shout and soon did business. The price of pine mushrooms was 2 cents per pound. This thing was not valuable, and it was everywhere in the mountains. It was the people in the county who made money. If you like it, buy it, and if you don't like it, don't buy it. Chun Hong was embarrassed to shout because her lover was present, and she didn't open the shop for a long time. Su Yun was a boy, and boys wanted to save face, so naturally they didn't shout. So only Su Wan came to shout. "Everyone, take a look, fresh pine mushrooms, authentic mountain taste, still steaming, all picked and sold now." The pleasant voice, pretty face, an infectious smile soon attracted the first customer, a 40-year-old lady who was dressed quite decently. After comparing with several vendors selling pine mushrooms on the scene, hers was the only one that looked fresh, and the size was intact and beautiful, with moisture on it. The mountain products were fresh, so the aunt decided to buy hers immediately. "How much is 1 caddy?" "Give me 2 caddies." "Sister, 2 cents a caddy. You choose it yourself, and I'll ask my brother to weigh it for you after that." Su Wan was sweet-mouthed, and her word sister made people laugh. "You little girl, you are so sweet-mouthed. I can be your mother at my age, but you still call me sister." Although she said so, she was very happy in her heart. "You are young, and I am right to call you that." People in the county go to the street to buy vegetables with their own baskets. She started to pick pine mushrooms on the plate on the scale. "Fourth brother, I don't know how to use the scale. You do it." Su Yun was sitting cross-legged on the side. He glanced at her when he heard it, said nothing, and went to weigh it honestly. He thought, how can you do business if you don't know how to weigh it? 2 caddies and 2 tails. Su Yun stretched out his hand to skim off the excess, but was interrupted by Su Wan, who directly poured all the pine mushrooms into the aunt's basket. "It's just 2 tails, I'll give it to you." Oh, the little girl is really good at business. The aunt was coaxed by her and smiled happily. Su Yun curled his lips, thinking that she was good at pleasing others. The aunt happily paid 4 cents. It was the first time that she felt so comfortable spending money. A few more aunties came to buy vegetables and stopped at Chun Hong's stall to ask the price. The aunt turned around and saw old acquaintances, so she greeted them. "Aunt Zhang, Mama Lu, Grandma Zhao, you are here to buy mushrooms too. Come over here, the mushrooms here are big and fresh." "Yes, it's not time now. Buy some to satisfy your craving. There's nothing to eat, just buy some fresh and cheap." Originally, they had already started to weigh Chun Hong's mushrooms, but when they turned around and heard someone familiar, they went to Su Wan's side. When they came over to take a look, they were really big and fresher. Su Wan greeted them sweetly and then arranged for them to choose by themselves. They were not allowed to choose in other places for fear that they would be spoiled, but here they could choose by themselves, and they felt relieved. Each person bought 2 caddies, and Su Wan gave them 2 tails. These deals were successfully negotiated, and 16 cents were instantly deposited into the account. Chun Hong was almost angry to death, but because of Su Yun, she could only grit her teeth secretly. There were not many people buying mushrooms. This time, she carried more than 40 caddies, but she sat here for a long time. Except for the first few orders, there was no one after the order. He Jialan's side was also disappointing. Seeing that the sun was getting higher and higher, if the mushrooms were not sold quickly, they would be stale and even fewer people would buy them. We had to think of a way. A few minutes later, Su Wan stood up suddenly. Su Yun was almost dozing off, but she woke him up when she stood up. "What are you doing?" "Fourth brother, do you know where the largest restaurant in our county is?"
Su Wan asked.
Soo-yun heard this and sneered. What? You made more than 10 cents, and you still want to go to a restaurant, and it's the largest restaurant in the county? I'm serious, fourth brother. I'm not going to a restaurant, I'm going to do business. I still have 30 kilograms of pine mushrooms waiting to be sold. I worked so hard to pick them. I can't let them go to waste. Soo-yun didn't know what business she was going to do. He disagreed at first, but he couldn't stand her nagging and got up and took her there with him. You are really a little ancestor. I surrender. So the brother and sister went to the largest restaurant in the county. Kalai Restaurant was the largest and most prosperous restaurant in the county. The waiters at the door were calling for business. The brother and sister stopped at the door but were driven away. What are you doing? Go away to do business, and don't block the door of our restaurant.
Soo-yun looked at Soo-won helplessly.
The meaning of his eyes was very clear. See, you are here to get scolded. At this time, the shopkeeper in the restaurant came out, saw the brother and sister at the door, and asked the waiter what he was doing. Before the waiter could speak, Soo-won spoke first. Shopkeeper, I came to ask if your restaurant accepts fresh pine mushrooms. September is here, and it is the time to try new things. You might as well buy some to add to the dishes. As soon as Soo-won opened his mouth, the shopkeeper looked over in the direction of the voice and saw that it was a pretty little girl. He had a daughter of the same age, so he was reluctant to drive her away. It happened that there was nothing fancy recently, so since she was here, she might as well take a look and add to the dishes, as she said. I can buy some, but I don't want too much, just a few pounds will do. This is not a rare commodity. I'm afraid I can't sell too much. Besides, the texture of pine mushrooms is not as soft and tender as winter mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms. They are a bit dry, so I just want to try them for novelty. He was willing to do business with this small vendor, and he was very kind. If you think it's not delicious, that's because you didn't cook it right. But what I cook is definitely delicious. The shopkeeper was shocked by her answer and couldn't help laughing. You're a little girl, but you're so arrogant. Can the dishes you cook compare to the chefs I hired with money? Boss, how about this? I will show you my cooking skills on the spot. If you think my cooking is delicious, then you can take all these pine mushrooms. You will definitely be able to sell them for a good price. If I don't cook well, I will give them all to you for free. You won't suffer any loss anyway. This is Soo-won's real purpose. There are no bad ingredients, only chefs who can't make the best use of the ingredients. It happened that the store was idle today, and the shopkeeper became interested. He wanted to see what this girl can do. Why don't you add one more thing? If your cooking is not delicious, you have to stay and wash all the dirty dishes that I have piled up. After all, you occupy my kitchen and delay our work. If you agree, I agree. As a businessman, there is really no reason to suffer a loss. It's just washing dishes. Soo-won can afford it. Why do you have to compete with him? You worked so hard to pick them, and you just gave them away for free? And you do things for them for free. I think you are just idle. Come back with me. Soo-yun was angry. Even though his relationship with his sister was not very good now, he would not tolerate being bullied by others, so he carried the burden and was about to leave. Soo-won quickly grabbed him. Fourth brother, we haven't even gone in yet. How do you know I can't do it? Anyway, a piece of meat will be lost, so just accompany me. If I do it, it will be a matter of money. Looking at the brother and sister arguing, the shopkeeper had an expression of watching a show. Soo-yun thought he was going to lose face today anyway. No one knew him anyway, but this little girl, maybe she would be honest after some setbacks. I promise. Soo-won agreed to his request, and the shopkeeper was willing to let them in, and took her directly to the kitchen. Everyone in the kitchen was idle at the moment. After hearing about this, they couldn't help but laugh at her, thinking that the little girl was overestimating her ability. Soo-won went to the stove, and Soo-yun accompanied her by the side, never leaving. In fact, he also wanted to know what tricks this girl was playing. First wash the mushrooms, then tear them into small pieces and blanch them in water, and then prepare the side dishes. There is a small handful of ready-made black fungus in the basket to soak, and a small piece of lean meat is cut into pieces for later use. Onions and garlic cannot be less. There is no pepper in this era, and everyone eats very bland. Finally, and most importantly, she took a small potato and cut it into shreds. Her technique was very skillful, as if she often did this kind of thing. The knife kept moving on the chopping board, and the potato shreds were delicate and even. Soo-yeon looked at her series of operations and felt a little depressed. Is she really a spoiled daughter? Why does she seem to do this kitchen work all the time? Soo-won wrapped the shredded potatoes with gauze and began to beat them with the back of a knife until potato starch appeared. She filled a small bowl with water starch. This bowl of water starch is the key to enhance the flavor. First, fry the minced garlic, then stir-fry the meat slices over high heat, and then add the mushrooms and black fungus one by one. After blanching in water, they have become very soft and tender, and the so-called woodiness has been removed, leaving only tenderness. Stir-fry over high heat, add a small bowl of water, thicken with water starch, and serve. Put it in 2 plates. Soo-won asked them to taste it. Her cooking method is rare, and everyone went from not taking it seriously at the beginning to being curious. After tasting the flavors one by one, their expressions changed from exploration to incredulity. It's true, there is no feeling of woodiness. It tastes so fresh, and with black fungus and lean meat, the taste is improved, fresh, really fresh. Just a few people may not be able to taste the difference. It mainly depends on the customers to taste it. Shopkeeper, what do you think? The shopkeeper had put away his previous attitude. After he had eaten it, he could not say against his conscience that it was not delicious. It was indeed much more delicious than what they cooked. He asked people to bring it out to several tables of guests to taste. After tasting it, they all said they wanted a plate. The dish had not been priced yet, and there was no sign on it.
How could he sell it?
But there was business, so there was no reason not to do it. I admit defeat. I want all your pine mushrooms. I'll give you 1 more cent based on the market price of 2 cents. How about that? No problem. 3 cents is too little. I'll sell it to you at 5 cents a pound. The businessman saw the results, and she also saw the value. If not raising the price now, when would she? I've already given you 1 more cent. Isn't it too much for you to ask for 5 cents? Mountain products like this can't be sold at that price. I can just buy them from others now. The shopkeeper was unwilling to give way. But Soo-won had an excuse. Shopkeeper, all of you in the kitchen just watched me do it with your own eyes. I taught you all my methods to make food more delicious. I have to charge you some apprenticeship fee. You all think it's delicious, and someone outside will want to eat it immediately. Now the most direct way is to buy my mushrooms and cook them. If you don't want, I can go to other restaurants and teach them this method. Naturally, someone will be willing to pay this price to buy it. Besides, 1 pound of pine mushrooms is enough to make 3 dishes. You make a net profit. He definitely didn't want everyone to know this method. It must be unique. In the future, at this time every year, he can make more money by using this method. When he heard Soo-won say that he wanted to sell it to other restaurants, he became anxious. You are so cunning. You have such a business mind at such a young age. I admire you. Okay, let's do as you said. 5 cents a pound. Okay, take the scale. The shopkeeper is a straightforward person. Soo-won achieved her goal and smiled with satisfaction. The shopkeeper was also helpless. Girl, you have to be more kind. Today I have done your business. You have to give me a favor. You are not allowed to tell other people about this method. If you still have mushrooms in the future, and even every year in the future, I am willing to charge you 1 cent higher than the market price, okay? Okay, I won't tell others. In the future, only Kulai restaurant in Chingha County will know this method.
Soo-won promised.
This potato starch can't be used for all dishes. She doesn't need to blackmail others because of this. At most, it is an equal exchange. This dynasty is still very backward, and many foods have not been discovered. The starch mentioned in the text also appeared in the later period of the novel, and it is not available now. 30 caddies of pine mushrooms, 5 cents a caddy, a total of 150 coins, that is, 1.5 taels of silver, plus the 16 coins in hand, a total of 166 coins. Thank you, shopkeeper. I wish you a prosperous business, a lot of money, and wealth from all directions. If it sells well, I will come to deliver it to you in a few days. Suwon smiled like a flower while holding the money. The shopkeeper held his forehead and nodded repeatedly. Okay, I'll give you good wishes. Who wouldn't like a smart child? After leaving the Kalai restaurant, Soo-yun still felt like he was dreaming. Suwon's operation just now really impressed him.
He made so much money easily.
If he continued to display it in the market, not to mention whether he could sell it all, he couldn't sell it at such a high price. What do you think, fourth brother? I'm awesome. Suwon showed off the silver in front of him with a proud look on his face. Awesome. Soo-yun gave her a thumbs up. This was something he had to admit. Suwon was very happy to get the recognition from her fourth brother. She immediately went to the meat stall and bought 2 pounds of pork belly. Pork belly cost 8 cents a pound. She went to the grain and oil store and bought 10 pounds of flour. Flour cost 3 cents a pound. This was coarse flour, yellow in color, not very fine. Fine flour cost 5 cents. She also bought 10 cents of rapeseed oil. 3 tails of oil cost 10 cents, which was enough for frying for half a month. If you save it, it can be used longer. She spent 56 cents and went to the bun shop to buy 8 meat buns. 3 cents for 2 and 10 cents for 8. There was not much meat in them, just a little bit of meat. She just spent the remaining 66 cents. Soo-yun followed her to buy meat and noodles, but she didn't buy anything for herself. She originally thought she would buy herself some velvet flower headbands or something. Fourth brother, we're going to have meat tonight and big steamed buns. Aren't you going to buy something for yourself? I don't want anything. I just want everyone to eat and drink well. Let's go home quickly. Suwon's smile was sincere, but it made Soo-yun feel uncomfortable. Now that she had money, she actually wanted everyone to eat and drink well. She didn't seem to be the kind of domineering and unthrifty young lady he imagined. Suwon, why can you cook? And so skilled? Soo-yun suddenly asked her, and she was stunned. She had no worries about food and drink in the richest man's house, so how could she cook by herself? Mrs. Gu said that her daughter will follow her husband after she gets married. To be a good wife and mother, she must learn to cook, so she specially learned cooking for a period of time. Her words were flawless and well-founded. Soo-yun nodded in agreement, but he did not agree with Mrs. Gu's point of view. Although a woman follows her husband after marriage, she does not necessarily have to know how to cook. If a man really loves his wife, it doesn't matter whether she can cook or not. Well, fourth brother is right. It was all nonsense originally, so Suwon could only follow his meaning and quickly end the topic. After staying in the county for so long, it was almost Shin time, and it was time to go back as agreed with Old Hong. At the county gate, He Jialan and Chening Hong had just arrived not long ago, but there were still a lot of pine mushrooms in their baskets. It seemed that their business was not good today. If they couldn't sell them all, they could only take them back and dry them for themselves. Since everyone is here, let's get ready to go back. Get in the car. Old Hong greeted Soo-yun and his sister. Soo-yun's basket only had some things he had just bought, and all the pine mushrooms were sold out. He Jialan looked at the two in shock. Are all yours sold out? Suwon nodded. Yes, we changed the place, so we sold out. As if knowing that she would ask how they were sold out, Suwon directly explained it all at once to prevent her from asking more. How can you be so lucky? Look at ours, we got them all. He Jialan was very envious of Suwon's good luck. Suwon just smiled and said nothing, and the ox cart began to go back towards the village. After getting off the car at the entrance of the village, Suwon was still chattering about how to eat meat tonight, how to make steamed buns with the newly bought flour, and how to share the buns with his brothers when he returned. But Soo-yun just answered perfunctorily with only one question. When I cook in the evening, can you come over and take a look and give me some advice? Soo-yun now thinks that Suwon's cooking skills are better than his. He is particularly interested in cooking. His dream is to open a restaurant in the future, do his own business, and let his family live a good life. Fourth brother is so sincere, so I will give you some advice. Suwon said this deliberately, and sure enough, Soo-yun rolled his eyes. I gave you some sunshine, and you are still shining. Almost every household in the village was drying grain on bamboo mats, and the same was true at home, but the brother and sister didn't know that a group of uninvited guests had come to their home. Su Jing's 4 brothers were standing in the yard, and there were 5 or 6 other strong men in the yard, led by a man in a brown silk gown with a pipe in his mouth, and the 2 sides were confronting each other. It's written in black and white. You can't deny it. If you don't pay me back, I will move all the grain in your house and then report to the police. Aren't you studying in Zhongyun Academy? Do you still want to participate in the spring examination next year? If you go to jail, it will be a stain on your reputation, and you can't participate. The man pointed at Su Jing's nose and said, with threats between the lines. Su Wan and Su Yun saw this scene as soon as they came back. When Su Jing was told that he could not participate in the spring examination, his face turned pale. How can you be like this? We have paid off the silver we owed you. 30 taels, not a penny less. Why are you changing your mind now and saying there is interest? Su Chen was anxious and took a step forward to take action, but was stopped by Su Mu. You are blackmailing us. We should report to the police.
Su Mu said coldly.
Report to the police? Why do you do that? I have it written in black and white with all the evidence. Will you have to sue me? This man came prepared today. He was not afraid at all. Look carefully. It is clearly written on it that interest will be charged if you don't pay it off in 3 months. Although you have paid back 30 taels in bits and pieces later, the interest has not been paid off, 5 taels of interest, and it has been more than a year now, a total of 400 days, 5 cents a day, and you still owe a total of 25 taels. This handprint and name were signed and sealed by your father himself. Don't even think about denying it. The brothers took a closer look and saw that it was really written like this. You are clearly bullying my father because he can't read. Su Yi, who has always been gentle, became angry. Then who asked you to borrow money from me? I lend money at interest. Your father should have thought clearly when he came to me to borrow money for life-saving. I heard that the little girl in your family was actually the biological daughter of Mr. Gu. The Gu family is the richest family in Qinghe County, and you have raised their daughter for more than 10 years. There must be affection. If you really can't pay it back, I can take the receipt to Mr. Gu. Mr. Gu will not care about these small amounts of money. The leader had a sly smile on his face. Su Yun heard it outside the yard, and the firecracker got angry all of a sudden. He put down his burden, rushed in, picked up the broom by the door, and was about to drive people away. 4th brother, calm down. Su Wan didn't stop him. A bunch of robbers. Are you still unreasonable? He picked up the broom and went to hit the man. Su Jing and others saw this and hurriedly pulled him back, but the broom still swept the corner of the man's clothes. Okay, I just came to get the money you owed me, but you actually hit me. Overturn all these grains for me. He knew that he couldn't hit people. If he injured them, he wouldn't get the money, so he took out his anger on the newly harvested grains. Su Wan saw this. That was too much. This is the Su family's food supply for a year, and it can't be wasted. Don't move. Let's talk it over. We just pay you back. The girl rushed in and yelled. Everyone was attracted by her and looked at her. Su Chen was ready to take action, but he held back. He couldn't reveal the fact that he knew martial arts for the time being.
Who are you?
The leader had a pointed face and saw Su Wan standing there. He said that he would pay back the money, so he asked the people below to stop. I am the real daughter of the Su family. The sharp-nosed monkey looked at her and thought, she is really beautiful. Okay, you said it, pay me back. He spread his hands towards her. Su Wan immediately put on a bright smile. Boss, you look so elegant. Let's talk it out. Seeing that her attitude was not bad, the sharp-nosed monkey looked much better. Stop talking nonsense and pay me back quickly. 25 taels of silver, not a penny less. After you pay me back, I will tear up this IOU in front of you, and everything will be cleared from now on. Boss, can you give me a little more time? Can I pay you back after I have collected all the silver? Su Wan didn't have that much money to pay him back. He just wanted to stop him from wasting food. Bah, are you kidding me, little girl? The sharp-nosed monkey spat on the ground with a bad look on his face, obviously angry. Seeing this, Su Jing hurried forward and protected Su Wan behind him. Boss Zhang, we will not deny it, but we can't take out so much money for the time being, and the whole family is waiting for food. Can you give us some time? Grace? How long have I given you grace? Do you think I'm easy to bully? I tell you that you must pay back the money. Otherwise I will report to the government and put you in jail. What a treacherous villain. If this sends eldest brother to the government, his future career will be ruined. Soo-won must not watch his eldest brother have no chance of a career in government. Soo-jing's brows were tightly frowned, and the fists of the other brothers of the Soo family were clenched so tightly that veins popped out. Boss Zhang, how about this? Give us a month, and we will definitely pay you back the money we owe you, and you can collect the interest. If we can't pay it back after a month, you can report to the police or do whatever you want. Soo-won stood up again and began to negotiate with Boss Zhang. Wan, don't do anything stupid. Soo-jing held Soo-won's hand. How could she make such a boast? Where could she get 25 taels of silver in a month? Even if parents worked for a whole year, they wouldn't have 25 taels of silver. Don't panic, brother. Wan has her own way. Soo-won gave him a look, indicating that he was at ease. 1 month?
Who knows what you will say next time?
Boss Zhang didn't believe her words and thought it was just a delaying tactic. Boss Zhang, I used to be the eldest daughter of the Gu family for more than 10 years. The relationship between me and the Gu family is there. If I am desperate, I have my own way. But don't you even give me this little face? Soo-won had to move out of the Soo family. Soo-won, we don't want the Gu family's charity. Soo-yun became anxious when he saw this and looked at her with a red face. Fourth brother, shut up. Soo-won thought he was really a piece of wood with no substance. Soo-yun was so angry that he jumped up and down. The sharp-mouthed monkey weighed the pros and cons for a moment, thinking carefully about her words. What she meant was to give the Gu family face and give her a month. If she really couldn't get the money together during this month, she would find a way to ask the Gu family for it. But if he offended the Gu family because of this, it would be more trouble than gain. Finally, he decided to give her a month's grace. It's not impossible to give you a month's grace, but the interest will have to be increased. After a month, you have to pay me 30 taels of silver. If you agree, we will sign and seal it on the spot, and then I will leave and wait for good news. Based on the interest of 5 cents a day for a month, it would only be 1.5 taels of interest. He raised it so much, which is obviously bullying. Okay, it's settled.
Soo-won agreed.
Wan, this is an unfair clause. How can you agree to it? Soo-jing's heart was bleeding, not to mention whether he could pay back the previous 25 taels. He had to pay 5 more taels of silver at once. It's okay, big brother, I can pay it back. Soo-won insisted, and Soo-jing couldn't stop him. Okay, there are so many men in your family, but they are not as straightforward as a little girl like you. Let's make it a deal. Go prepare pens and ink. He ordered his men to get paper and pen to write a receipt.
Soo-won had a way out.
If it didn't work out, he still had the gold ring. The sharp-nosed monkey wrote the receipt, and Soo-won took it and examined it carefully. After confirming that there was nothing wrong, he signed and stamped his fingerprints. I'll come again in a month. I hope you won't force me. The sharp-nosed monkey put away the receipt and then swaggered away with his men. Soo-yun got angry and shouted at Soo-won. Soo-won, are you stupid? You promised to pay back 30 taels of silver. Where can we get these 30 taels in a month? I tell you, even if our Soo family is desperate, we will never accept charity from the Gu family. This is what Madame Gu said to them that day. She said that I have helped you raise your daughter so well, and I have done my best, but my daughter has never had a good day with you, and they can't think of relying on their relationship with you yet to enjoy the good things of their Gu family. Fourth brother, the reason why I agreed to him is that I have my own way. Don't worry, I will not accept charity from the Gu family. Those words are just my weighing of the pros and cons. If I don't say that, can they leave? As for money, I will find a way. I already have my own ideas. Just wait and see, brothers. Besides, 30 taels of silver can save face. Is it important to have eldest brother's future? Eldest brother has studied hard for many years and has already lost one opportunity. How can he lose another chance? The book unfolds from the perspective of the heroine Guyu, so there are not many descriptions of what happened in the countryside. This paragraph did not appear in the book, and we just don't know how they solved it. At this moment, Guyu is still in the Gu family and making up for the lost family affection with Mrs. Gu and Mr. Gu. After Suwon said this, everyone was silent. Yes, the eldest brother has waited for so long, just waiting for this spring examination to be named on the gold list. If that person reports to the official, won't his career be ruined? Su Jing's heart was full of thoughts. Looking at this sister, who didn't have much affection for him, she actually considered everything for herself. Okay, the boat will straighten out when it reaches the bridgehead. I made money today. Fourth brother saw it with his own eyes. I bought meat, buns, and flour. We will have delicious food tonight. Fourth brother, didn't you ask me to guide you? Hurry up and bring the things in. Soo-yun felt awkward for a moment, but still went out to get the things. In the room, everyone looked at those things and asked Soo-yun how he sold all the pine mushrooms. Soo-yun told everyone about Soo-won's operations today from his own perspective. Finally, he added, "Don't say it, her brain is quite good." Su-jing originally wanted to let her go to the market, and she would not go again if she couldn't sell it. Unexpectedly, things were far beyond his expectations. I promised the shopkeeper that I would send it to him in a few days. He is willing to accept it at 3 cents per pound, but now I have other things to do. Can you brothers help me share the burden of picking mushrooms? Su-won looked at everyone expectantly. Su-jing chuckled and nodded her head. You are so clever. Brother will go for you tomorrow. Su-won touched his forehead and smiled. You said you have other things to do now. What is it? The silent Su-mu looked at Su-won and asked. He was better at grasping the key points. Hearing this, everyone looked at her, wanting to know the reason. You will know when the time comes.
Su-won demand mysterious.
TSK, you're keeping me in suspense. I'm going to cook. Su-yun found it so boring. This girl Su-won always liked to mess with people's mentality. He still preferred to cook. Is anyone home? A man was shouting and knocking at the door. Su-chen immediately recognized that it was the voice of his master, so he went out to open the door immediately. I'm coming. When he opened the bamboo fence door, it was indeed his master, holding a few pieces of pork in his hand. Master.
Sure.
Jiang the hunter made a gesture to keep quiet, signaling him not to shout. Su-chen then reacted, Jiang the hunter, why are you here?
Me.
I'm here to deliver meat to your house. By the way, where's your sister? Uncle Jiang weighed the wild boar meat in his hand and tilted his head to look inside. Su-won was the only girl in the Su family now, so who else could he say? When Su-won heard someone calling her, she moved over. Seeing that it was the hunter Jiang, she was a little surprised. Uncle Jiang, why is it you? Haha, I forgot to tell you the other day. Thanks to you for leading the wild boar to the trap, otherwise I wouldn't have caught it. Now, I brought the wild boar back and killed it and thought of sending you some meat to eat. You also have a share of the credit, don't you? Uncle Jiang smiled heartily. After inviting Uncle Jiang into the house and asking him what happened, they found out that Su-won had gone deep into the forest alone without telling anyone and was almost eaten by a wild boar. Yes, if it weren't for this girl, the wild boar would have run away, and it wouldn't have fallen into the trap. I thought of sending a few pieces to your family after I killed the meat. Uncle Jiang put the meat on the table, about 20 pounds, all of which were top-quality pork hind legs. Hunter Jiang, you don't need so much, just take some back. Su-jing was embarrassed to accept so much pork. 20 pounds of pork was worth 160 coins on the market. In fact, this was just a cover-up. Uncle Jiang really felt sorry for his apprentice and saw that his family was in trouble, so he used Su-won's excuse to send meat. Su-won also knew very well that a master like Uncle Jiang could not do anything with a wild boar. I've already brought it here. How can I take it back? Just accept it. He sent it here on purpose, so why would he think of taking it back? Su-jing didn't want to owe this favor, so he simply asked Uncle Jiang to stay for dinner before leaving. Uncle Jiang didn't refuse and stayed. Su-won was laughing behind him, and Su-jing turned around and tapped her on the head. Didn't I tell you not to run into the woods? Why didn't you listen? What if something happens? This girl is too rebellious. After repeated warnings, she still went into the woods. Su-won stuck out her tongue, feeling a little guilty. I was so engrossed when picking mushrooms that I forgot about it for a moment. I won't do it next time. Su Jing was not going to embarrass her. He sighed helplessly and then helped Su Yun to light the fire and cook. Su Yun looked at so much meat and felt that happiness came too suddenly. He could make good use of these ingredients. There were guests tonight, so a pot of sweet potato rice was cooked, with less sweet potatoes and more rice. Su Wan watched Su Yun cooking from the side. She found that there seemed to be no condiments like soy sauce in this dynasty, so the dishes looked bland. Su Yun's cooking technique was very skillful. He could stir the wok with a big iron pot, just like a great chef. He learned it by himself. Sure enough, he would become a big boss in the food industry in the future. After frying lettuce and meat, he asked Su Wan to taste it. Try it. How does it taste? Su Wan took chopsticks and tasted it. The saltiness was just right. The meat was just right and well seasoned. It wasn't too old, nor did it have that mushy feeling. It was delicious. Delicious. Su Wan gave him a thumbs up. Just 2 words. Su Yun was not very satisfied with her statement. Delicious is delicious. What other adjectives are needed? Su Wan thought silently in his heart. Give some comments. Is there anything that needs to be improved? Su Wan thought about it carefully. She couldn't find anything wrong with this dish, so she could only express her thoughts. I think it would be nice if there was a sauce for seasoning and coloring to use in cooking. It can make the color of the dish darker and more delicious. Of course, there is nothing wrong with this dish. It is delicious. I just think the taste is a bit monotonous. In her opinion, whether a dish is delicious depends on the ingredients. The combination of ingredients can also make the food more delicious, just like the reason why she used black fungus to stir-fry mushrooms. Sauce for seasoning and coloring? Su Yun didn't understand. Yes, it's the kind that can be stored for a long time. Putting a little bit in each time will make the food taste more delicious. The cooking method here is still too simple. We just need to control the heat. I think we still have to innovate and have our own cuisine. In the original novel, Su Yun always wanted to be unique. He had many ways to prepare ingredients. He thought of frying, stir-frying, boiling, deep-frying, and braising, but he never thought of spending time on seasoning. He wanted something different, but he couldn't find a direction. In fact, there was nothing wrong with his innovation. More tricks could keep customers, but a trick would become stale after a while. He had to keep coming up with new tricks to make the dishes classics. Only then could classics be passed down forever. Su Yun started to get stuck in a rut after hearing this. He nodded as if he understood, and pondered over her statement over and over again. Indeed, they didn't have any tricks in cooking. As long as the heat and the saltiness are similar. It would be nice if some special seasonings could be developed to change the single taste. Later, he made a salted meat to blanch the vegetables. This was also a way of eating that Su Yun came up with. It was a bit like hot pot. The salted meat became more flavorful as it was cooked, and the vegetables became more delicious when blanched, with a meaty and fresh taste. This idea was quite good. He asked Su Wan how to make shredded potato pancakes. Su Wan said beside him that he just followed the steps. He also wanted to make it like Su Wan without any burnt smell, but he still didn't quite grasp the heat when frying. Fourth brother, when frying, lubricate the pan with oil, don't use fire on the stove, and fry slowly, with residual heat. Fry 2 less pieces each time, and turn them over more frequently so they don't get burnt. He followed what Su Wan said and fried a few more pieces, and sure enough, they didn't get burnt, without any black at all. It really is. Su Yun was very satisfied with the result, and his eyes softened when he looked at Su Wan. It turned out that people need to have the same topics to get along better. Su Jing looked at how harmoniously they got along, and nodded with great satisfaction. During the meal, Uncle Jiang praised the dishes on the table, especially the salted meat, which won his heart, and he ate it with great pleasure. Tonight we had the meat bought by Su Wan. Most of the 20 kilograms of pork that Uncle Jiang brought was marinated with salt to prepare for smoked bacon. In this weather, the meat cannot be kept for too long. If it is not smoked, it will deteriorate and become smelly. Just keep a few kilograms to eat fresh. Now the Su family's top priority is to pay back the 30 taels of silver they owe, but Suwon is keeping it a secret, and no one knows what she wants to do. The next day, Su Jing was going to pick mushrooms for Suwon, and Su Yi would go with him. Before going, they had to take out all the millet and dry it in the sun. Wan, what do you want to do? You promised Boss Zhang that you only have 1 month to pay back the 30 taels of silver, so don't be stubborn. If you really can't do it, I'll find a way. Before going to the mountain, he still wanted to ask, clearly. Seeing that Suwon didn't seem to be in a hurry at all, he didn't know what she was thinking. Brother, don't worry, I already have a way to make money. You go pick mushrooms first. Suwon couldn't explain it clearly in a few words. Let's wait and see the finished product. Su Jing had no choice but to make money from the mushrooms first, so he took Su Yi to the mountain. Now there are only the second brother Su Mu, the third brother Su Chen, and the fourth brother Su Yun left at home. Suwon has things to give them to do before they can buy materials. There was still 1 or 2 taels of silver left from selling mushrooms yesterday, and Suwon took out the silver and divided it among his brothers. Wan, what are you giving us money for? Su Chen looked at the copper coins in his hand and asked in confusion. I need a few brothers to help me buy some ingredients. Suwon explained with a smile. After hearing this, the brothers looked at each other and they didn't quite understand what she meant. What exactly are you going to do? Su Mu asked with a frown. Second brother, don't ask too much. You'll know after I make it. Please ask third brother to help me buy 5 pounds of pork fat from the county. I remember there are people raising sheep in our village. Please ask second brother to help me get a can of goat milk. Fourth brother, take a handful of straw and help me burn it into ash. She asked about pork fat yesterday. It is more expensive than pork belly, 9 cents a pound, because after pork fat is refined into lard, it can be eaten for a long time, and the oil is heavy. 5 pounds of pork fat cost 45 cents, and she gave Su Chen 50 cents. I don't know about goat milk. How did she sell it? That day she saw the kid herding sheep in the village. There were many lambs in the flock, and the ewes were full of milk, so she concluded that there was goat milk. She gave Su Mu 30 coins, which should be enough, right? The autumn harvest has just ended, and there is straw everywhere. It is very simple to make alkaline water with some wood ash. Suwon kept it a secret, and she couldn't get any information. She didn't know what she wanted these things for. But it doesn't matter. The money is earned by herself. She can spend it however she wants. I'll see what you want to do, wood ash, right?
Wait.
Suyun has been with her for a few days, and now he is not so resistant to her. Instead, he thinks she is very mysterious and knows a lot. The 3 brothers went to help her get things, and she took a hatchet to the bamboo forest behind and cut down a few relatively large bamboo tubes. The wood ash was quickly prepared, and Suwon asked him to find some lime powder, add water to the wood ash and filter it several times, wait for it to precipitate alkaline water, and add limestone. She had discovered before that there was no soap in this dynasty, and only soapberry rice could be used to wash clothes. Alkaline water and lard can produce a natural reaction to produce delicate foam. Alkalinity can remove grease. Goat milk is good for the skin, and goat milk soap can be made to wash the face. This goat milk soap will definitely be very popular. After the alkaline water was filtered, Su Chen and Su Mu had also returned. Su Mu only spent 10 cents on the goat milk, and the remaining 20 cents were returned to Suwon. Goat milk smells so stinky, it's not as expensive as you think. Fresh goat milk does smell stinky, but it won't smell like stinky after it's boiled. Su Chen went to the county to buy lard, and was the last one back, so the lye water and goat milk had been processed, and he was just waiting to boil the lard. The lard was cut into small pieces and then refined into lard. The oil residue can be used for cooking. 5 pounds of lard can produce several bowls of lard. Before it solidifies, take out a bowl and skim off the floating foam. The remaining 2 bowls will be kept for home consumption. Let's experiment first. Take it to the market to see if it sells well. If it can be sold at a high price, continue making it. Suwon guarantees that it will definitely sell well, and she will not lose money on this thing. It is a must-have trick for time travel. Pour the hot goat milk into the lard and stir evenly to mix it completely. Then pour the alkaline water in proportion. At this time, You need to stir constantly, which requires a lot of arm strength, so she can only ask Su-chin for help because he is a martial artist and has good arm strength. Su-chin obediently did what she said, and Su-mu and Su-yun watched the whole time, not knowing what she was going to do. Su-won, you have ruined a bowl of lard like this. Is it still edible? This made the brothers feel painful. The brothers who have been frugal since childhood felt distressed to see her waste it like this. Who said, I want to make it into food. Su-won smiled meaningfully and did not stop until Su-chen had stirred the oil into a creamy state. She poured the semi-finished goat milk soap into a bamboo tube and put it in a cool and ventilated place to let it sit for a few days. After it is saponified and the alkalinity becomes smaller, it can be taken out and used. Is that it? What on earth are you doing? Su-yun was confused. This is what he got after a whole day. Can he make money from this? Don't tell me you make money from this? That's right, fourth brother, we'll see in 3 days. Words are not very convincing. Only when you take out the finished product and show it to them on the spot and see the effect, it will be useful. Why are you being so mysterious? I'll see what you're going to do. Su-yun curled his lips, then went to study his own things. He had been thinking about it all night yesterday, and he had been thinking about the seasonings and sauces that Su-won mentioned, so he wanted to think about it and start from this direction to make a unique, fresh, and delicious dish. In the afternoon, Su-jing and Su-yi came back from the mountain picking mushrooms. There are many people picking mushrooms recently, so it is not easy to pick them. After picking for a whole day, they only picked 2 baskets. Su-won took him to see the goat milk soap she made. She only told him her idea. Brother, we always use wooden sticks to wash clothes, but it's not clean. We have to spend money to buy soap, and it may not be clean after using it. So I thought of this idea and made this goat milk soap, which can be used to wash clothes as well as wash your face and take a bath. 3 days later, when we go to the county to deliver mushrooms, we can take the goat milk soap to the county by the way, okay? Now in this family, Su-jing is the only one who is closest to her, so subconsciously, if there is anything, she will only tell him, because he will not discourage her. Indeed, Su-jing listened to her idea and thought it was particularly good. Is this goat milk soap so good? Then I have to see it carefully. If it is useful, it will definitely sell for a high price. Well, and it is also very simple to make. If it is popular, we can definitely pay back the 30 taels in a month, and maybe even make more money. Su-won still has confidence in her goat milk soap. This is what ordinary people use. It is affordable, fresh, and easy to use, so it will sell well. Su-jing saw her so confident and couldn't help but smile. His sister is actually very good. She is very smart, has her own ideas, is very hardworking, and has a pure and clear look in her eyes. 3 days later, a load of mushrooms were picked. This time, Su-jing took Su-won to the county. Su-won removed the mold of the goat milk soap and cut it into round blocks of uniform thickness. Because it had to be economical, Su-won cut it thicker. The light yellow goat milk soap smelled very strong and delicious. I used some scraps and rubbed them with water. There were dense bubbles, and it was easy to rinse. After washing, there was a light milk smell on my hands, which was very delicious. In order to test the effect, Su-won tried it on his face. The milk smell was very good. After washing, his face felt smooth and refreshing without any tightness. It was fine to put it on his hands, the foam was fine, and the fragrance was fine. Let's see how it works when washing clothes. I called all the brothers and gave each of them a piece of scraps. I asked them to use it to wash their faces, hands, and clothes to see the effect. It was the first time they saw such a new thing. Su-yun was the most active and tried it over and over again. Don't mention it, this stuff smells really good. It smells really good after washing. Su-mu was more direct and tried the cleaning ability directly. He took out a few dirty clothes to wash, and after rubbing them with goat milk soap, he felt that the washing felt particularly good and smooth, and the water that came out was dirty. Compared with the previous washing, the clothes were indeed much cleaner. It was also very easy to rinse, and the foam was washed away quickly. The clothes were washed quite clean, not bad. At first, no one knew what this was. They felt it was particularly unreliable and a waste of oil. Now, they know what Su-won is up to. Seeing everyone's reaction, Suwon knew it would be okay, and she felt more confident. Yes, brothers, do you think it would be very popular if there was such a good thing in people's lives? It's cheap, affordable, and easy to use. Suwon had thought about doing something to make money from the beginning, but she just lacked the capital. Now she was forced to do it, so she started to implement it in advance. The main purpose now is to build a good relationship with the big brothers. It is also a shortcut to make them look at themselves with admiration.
Suwon was right.
When something is good, the price must also be affordable so that more people will buy it. Wanwan, this is indeed a good thing. You are very smart. Su Jing suddenly felt that his youngest sister knew a lot. Sister Wanwan, how do you know how to make this? Did the Gu family teach you too? Sui narrowed his eyes and smiled, looking harmless, but his question was the most direct and accurate. After all, the Gu family has been doing business for generations, and if they know how to make goat milk soap, which is such a good business opportunity, they will definitely not miss this opportunity. Why would they leave it to Suwon to make it now? Su-yi is indeed a big-tailed wolf, and his mind is the most delicate. Oh, fifth brother, I am usually idle and like to tinker with these things. I also accidentally discovered that wood ash water mixed with these oils can be made into this kind of soap. I had a brilliant idea and thought of adding some goat milk to it. Now, I have made a fool of myself. Suwon said this without blushing or beating his heart, and the main point was sincerity. Then Sister Wanwan is really smart. Su-yi did not continue to ask, so he believed it? That's right. All the brothers are gifted and smart. As your sister, I naturally can't embarrass you. Suyeon was very pleased with these words. He felt that he was very talented in cooking, and he raised his head proudly. Su-mu smiled and raised his eyebrows, thinking that his sister was pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. But it is undeniable that she is really smart. Okay, it's getting late. Wanwan, let's go quickly. Second brother, take them to dry the millet. Pay attention to the weather. Don't let it rain, and you won't be able to harvest it in time. Su Jing saw that the time was almost up. Old Hongtu probably couldn't wait much longer. It was very hot these 2 days, and there was a sign of rain. Suwon took out 10 pieces of goat milk soap. This time, a total of 18 pieces were made. She took them to test the water first. Before leaving, she took out a drawing and gave it to Su Yun and gave him the copper coins on her body, asking him to find a carpenter in the village to customize a few molds. Goat milk soap cannot only be easy to use, but also have to look good. This drawing was drawn a few days ago. What is this? Suyeon looked at the drawing, which was so neatly drawn with all the details, and there were patterns inside, which looked quite realistic. The mold for making goat milk soap, fourth brother, remember to tell the carpenter that the patterns inside must be done well. Thank you for your hard work, and bring fourth brother some delicious food when you come back. Just like coaxing a child, Suyeon didn't realize that he was also optimistic about this goat milk soap when he put the drawing in his arms. Suwon was holding a small basket with goat milk soap in it, and she already had an idea for selling it in her mind. The busy farming season was almost over, and many people went to the city these days. Everyone was very excited to see Su Jing and his sister, especially Suwon, and asked questions along the way. Suwon answered them very seriously, smiling sweetly, and seemed to be very easy to get along with. It was sweet. Most of the people on the bus were rural women. They were all smart. Those who had sons at home had already taken a fancy to each other. The main reason was that Suwon was good-looking and was a lady raised by a wealthy family. She was likable. All you could hear along the way was the women's laughter. Su Jing was in a good mood. When Yaya was around, he didn't like to chat with these women. He thought they were gossipy, so he didn't have a very good relationship in the village. After entering the county, they went to the restaurant first. This dish of fried black fungus and mushrooms sold well. The mushrooms they collected last time were sold out in a few days. The shopkeeper thought that if Suwon didn't come, he would go to the market. As soon as Suwon came, he said something stupid. I've been waiting for you for a long time. If you don't come, I'll find someone else. Come. Can I not come? I'm calculating the time. Is there any reason not to make money?
Does what you said last time still count?
Charge me 3 cents per pound? Suwon estimated that this time, there were about 40 caddies. He should have earned a lot in the past 2 days. 3 cents a caddy is just a small amount at best. After making money, the shopkeeper would be easy to talk to. He smiled and nodded, saying, "I'm a businessman. I can't take back my words. What I say is what I say. After selling this batch, the novelty is almost over. I'll just have to wait until next year. After the pine mushroom season, they will not continue to sell it. The main purpose is to create a sense of novelty." Someone was asked to weigh it. 40 caddies, 3 cents a caddy, 1 tael of silver and 20 cents. Not as much as last time, but it was enough. Suwon was easily satisfied. "Thank you, shopkeeper, you're rich. Little girl, you are very smooth at a young age. I like doing business with people like you. Next time, if there are fresh mountain products, you can also send them over." He now thinks highly of this girl. She is smart. Okay. Suwon happily put the silver into the small bag and smiled with satisfaction. Su Jing watched her handle these things easily from the side and wondered if she was really the eldest daughter who grew up in the Gu family and didn't care about the world. But then he thought, Master Gu is a businessman, and it is normal for him to follow suit and be more tactful. Before leaving, Suwon gave a piece of goat milk soap to the shopkeeper, not missing any opportunity to test it. "Shopkeeper, this is called goat milk soap. It can be used for washing hands, face, and clothes. It is much better than soap nuts. I made it with goat milk. Take it home and let your wife try it." The shopkeeper looked at the thick piece on his hand and smelled it. It did smell like milk. It looked good and could be used to wash clothes. "Thank you." Suwon nodded and told Su Jing to leave. A masked man walked in from the door. The man was wearing a white robe. The fabric was obviously high-quality silk. He was tall and slender. Although only his chin was exposed, his lips looked full and healthy and rosy. His skin was also very delicate, which made people imagine what kind of handsome man was under the mask. Suwon turned around without paying attention and bumped into his chest. She only smelled a faint scent of pine on him and vaguely felt that his chest was firm. She took 2 steps back, and when she looked up, she saw such an extraordinary man wearing a strange Fong mask. "Sorry, I didn't notice." It was her fault, so it was understandable that she apologized at the first time. The man said lightly that it was okay, and his voice was cold, like a clear mountain spring. "Boss, a room upstairs, good wine, and delicious food." He didn't take it seriously, took out a 10 liang silver ingot and put it on the counter, generous. 10 liang is enough to stay here for many days. Suwon didn't care. Su Jing reached out and rubbed her forehead. "Are you okay, Wanwan?" Suwon shook her head, and the brother and sister left the restaurant. "Wanwan, how are you going to sell the goat milk soap?" Su Jing saw that she didn't take all the goat milk soap with her and gave it away for free. I wonder what good ideas this little girl is thinking of in her mind. Suwon did have an idea, so she asked Su Jing, "Brother, do you know where there is a grocery store in our county? It's a store that sells some daily necessities." "Of course there are. There are every few streets. Do you want to buy something?" This kind of grocery store, as the name suggests, sells a variety of daily necessities. It has everything. Then please take me to the one you think has the best business and the most complete goods. She wanted to put the goat milk soap on the shelves of the grocery store, where there was no need to shout and people came and went every day. Su Jing nodded and took her there. After turning a few streets, they came to the central street of the county, where there was a yeoman grocery store. The seller was a lady in her early 30s with a pair of phoenix eyes and drooping eyebrows. Apart from this feature, everything else was ordinary, but she was shrewd everywhere. She was fanning herself with a cattail leaf fan in her hand and was very simple and unpretentious. "Wanwan, what do you want to buy?" Su Jing always thought she was here to buy something. Otherwise, why would she go to the store with the most complete goods? Not buying anything, talking about business. Suwon smiled mysteriously again. As soon as she entered the grocery store, the proprietress saw her and asked enthusiastically, "What do you want to buy?" "I'll find it for you." "Boss lady, I'm not buying anything." After Suwon said this, The boss lady's expression changed 180 degrees, and she stopped smiling immediately. If you don't want to buy anything, what are you going to do? Suwon smiled confidently and explained, I'll show you something good and discuss a win-win business. Talk about business? The boss lady looked up and down at the little girl and said with a smile, Girl, have your hair grown out? Are you here to discuss business with me? These frivolous words made Su Jing frown and look at the boss lady unhappily. The boss lady accepted his gaze, but didn't care. As a businessman, people come and go in the business world. What kind of people haven't she seen, and what kind of looks haven't she received? Don't judge a person by appearance. Age is not a problem. As long as I can make you money, isn't that enough? Businessmen will not miss any opportunity to make money. If you are not interested, I will go to another store. Suwon was about to leave, but what she said really offended the boss lady, who was anxious. What if it really is a good thing to make money? Wouldn't it be a loss if you missed it? Let's listen to her. Okay, let me see if you can convince me. Suwon saw that there was a chance and smiled. Everything was under control. He turned around and returned to his expressionless face. He opened the basket, revealing the goat milk soap inside. The boss lady had never seen it before, so she was curious. What is this? Suwon took out a piece and began to introduce to her the ingredients added to it and the benefits of goat milk for the skin. This soap of mine can be used to wash your face and hands, take a bath, and wash clothes. It cleans well and leaves a fragrance. It has a light milky fragrance and is very tempting. It looks more high-end than soap beans. Soap beans are usually expensive and ordinary people can't afford them. I see that the soap beans in your shop are covered in dust and not many people buy them. Why don't you try mine? Mine has not been finely modified and may not look so good. I'll give it to you for free to try it out, and you can use it yourself. If you think it's good, I'll deliver it to you and you can sell it on the shelf. You won't lose money. I'll make it look better then. What do you think? Suwon's mouth was dry after talking for so long. He didn't know if she had listened to him. He saw her sniffing and looking at the goat milk soap again and again. Her brows sometimes frowned and sometimes relaxed, with doubt and some hesitation. You mean you give me all these for free? Suwon nodded, as if she was willing to sacrifice the lamb. She couldn't catch the wolf. In other words, after she sold the soap, it would be her money. If she thought it was good and sold well, she would come back in a few days to give it away, and she could make it more beautiful and exquisite. Then I'll try it first. If no one buys it, forget it. The proprietress thought that it wouldn't be a loss anyway, so she might as well give it a try. This woman is cunning, but it's good this way. If she is smarter and knows how to calculate, she can make more money. Suwon reached a consensus with her that she would come again in a few days, and she would bring the goods to the door at that time. She must have confidence. In later generations, handmade soap is still popular, and she doesn't believe that these ancients can't be defeated.
Su Jing really admires Suwon's mind.
She has a clear mind. She actually thought of cooperating with shops and using their shops and traffic to sell. Brother, let's go buy some more lard and make 100 pieces of goat milk soap first. I'm confident that she will buy it in a few days. After she uses it and thinks it's good, she will try to sell it, promote it in various ways, and brag about it in various ways. Anyway, she will praise it highly, so that Suwon won't lose money and gain publicity. Why not? If it is put in the shop, the grade will be raised, and the price can also be raised. There is still a difference between street stalls and counters. It's like hiring a good talker, and the boss lady is just a tool. Su Jing himself said it was good after using it, and his brothers at home didn't think it was bad, so this thing must have potential. Okay, let's go. This time they wanted to buy 10 pounds of pork fat at once, so the pork shop owner gave them a discount of 1 cent. They spent 80 cents to buy 10 pounds of pork fat and also gave them 2 bones with little meat, which were just right for making soup. Suwon promised to buy delicious food for the fourth brother, so he went to buy 8 meat buns and 3 sugar cakes, spending 15 cents. These mushrooms were picked by the eldest and fifth brothers with great effort. They didn't buy anything, which made them feel sorry for them. Brother, do you want to eat anything? These pine mushrooms were picked by you and the fifth brother, and I ended up using them all. Su Jing shook his head and touched her head gently. You did all this for this family and for us. The idea was yours. You made the money, and we benefited from it. Besides, the lard you bought is meat, and a rare delicacy. How could your eldest brother not be satisfied? Your fifth brother wouldn't have any ideas either. He is the gentlest. Suwon felt warm in the heart and liked this eldest brother more and more. The eldest brother in the family was different. He was always tolerant and took care of the thoughts of his younger brothers and sisters. In a tea house next to them, a girl in gorgeous clothes, with a beautiful face, decorated with hairpins and rings, was very cute. Next to her sat two other girls in gorgeous clothes, and her eyes were always fixed on the close brother and sister downstairs. Ms. Gu, the snacks in this restaurant are delicious, and the milk tea is also a specialty. Don't you like it? These two young ladies, both of whom have business dealings with the Gu family, are the daughters of the landowners in the county. The wealthy families have their own circle. Gui has been back to the Gu family for almost 10 days. This is her first time out, enjoying a superior quality of life, with so many servants to serve her, as many beautiful clothes and jewelry as she wants, and so many fawning followers. She had spent too many days in the countryside facing the Lus, and was a little uncomfortable at first, but now she enjoys the feeling of being sought after, the feeling of being noble. Her parents are very good to her, and they always respond to her requests, as if to make up for the debts of these years. However, she just seeing her elder brother Su Jing and the girl with extraordinary appearance and sweet smile getting along so well, she felt sad. Such gentle eyes and doting head pats were obviously directed at her before. She had only been away for a few days, and her elder brother was conquered by her. This Suwon had occupied her life for so many years and lived a prosperous life for her for so long, and now he wanted to share his brother's love? It seemed that she had to find an opportunity to go back. Although her mother was particularly resistant to the Su family, it was the home where she grew up after all. Her brothers meant a lot to her. Seeing them so harmonious, she felt uncontrollably sad. It's too hot. I have no appetite. You guys eat. We'll go shopping later. She imitated the way the daughters spoke. Her tone was slow, gentle, and she smiled without showing her teeth. Suwon spent almost 1 or 2 silver coins at once, and she still felt a little distressed. In the days when she had no money, every cent had to be spent on the blade. But at the market, she saw someone selling dates, which were from her own date trees, pollution-free and without additives. She bought some and spent 5 cents. There were about 20 of them, just to taste the sweetness. When she got home, she divided the buns among her brothers.
Suyun refundet her 10 cents.
To make 3 sets of molds, the carpenter only charged 20 cents, and the molds were not big, so they could be made tomorrow afternoon. There were 8 buns, 1 for each person and 2 left, so Suyun divided it among the eldest brother and the 5th brother. The eldest brother and the 5th brother have worked hard picking mushrooms. They can have 1. Su Jing did not refuse. If it were any other time, he would definitely give it up, but he was also afraid that Suwon would be unhappy. Then thank you, Sister Wanwan. Su-yi was not embarrassed. He took it and stuffed it into his mouth. Suyun ran over and insisted on giving him half. It's only right that I get half. Do you admit that we are twin brothers now? The 4th and 5th brothers quarreled with each other all the time. Although Su-yi said so, he still gave him half of the bun. There were only 3 sugar cakes, which were divided into 6 portions, and each of them took half. It was just that the dates were eaten by several brothers 1 each, and the rest were left untouched and kept for Suwon. Girls love to eat sweet things, and how can a brother compete with her? The next morning, Suwon took the leftover goat milk soap from last time and carried a basin to the river to wash clothes. At this time, the river was full of people from the village who came to wash clothes. He Jiaolon and Chinninghong were also there. Suwon was now the topic of conversation in the village. She had just come back and was fresh, but she was a community leader, so she would go where there were many people. Hey, isn't this the girl from the Su family? I heard that you have been back for a few days, and I haven't seen you. I just heard that you are very handsome, and I recognized you at first sight. Suwon usually doesn't show up in front of people. So many people in the village have never seen her, but those who have seen her are all shocked by her appearance. Well, hello. Aunts, we will be from the same village in the future, so let's visit each other more often. Chun Inghong rolled her eyes when she saw that she was so shameless. She is really shameless. Which girl is like her, showing off everywhere? He Jialon smiled when she heard it. She is good-looking and attractive wherever she stands. Sister Su Won has a good personality, so don't always have a problem with her. Sister Jialon, what benefits has she given you? You protect her so much. You are doing it for the sake of brother Su Jing's face, and you love her too much. Hearing this, He Jialon immediately hit her lightly. Don't talk nonsense. I'm going to be angry. Chuning Hong has a big mouth. This place is full of gossipy women. If she talks about such nonsense, she, as a girl, will lose her reputation if it gets out. Chuning Hong also realized that she said the wrong thing, so she shut up. On Su Wan's side, he picked a group that was chatting the most and took out his goat milk soap to make bubbles. The clothes were foaming while being washed, and you could faintly smell the fragrance of milk, which instantly attracted the attention of several ants nearby. Sister Su, what is this new thing? It even produces foam. Su Wan thought to himself, his home court has come, so he successfully broke into the gossip group and started the sales mode. Ants, my goat milk soap is great. After washing your hands and face, your skin will be smooth and tender. And if you use it to wash clothes, the clothes will have a milky fragrance. You can smell it on me, right? She stretched out her sleeves for them to smell, and they leaned over to smell it. Hey, it really is, it smells really good. Come on, everyone try it, and see if it works. Su Wan generously shared her soap with everyone. They were all those who loved to take advantage, so of course they would not refuse, and took turns rubbing clothes with the goat milk soap. There were a lot of bubbles rubbed out, and the feeling of washing clothes was particularly good. You could clearly see the yellow bubbles washed out of the clothes. Wow, this thing is really easy to use, it washes so clean. An ant said very honestly. Everyone is a thrifty person, and if there is something useful, they all want to inquire about it. That's right, my goat milk soap can also be used to wash your face. My face is greasy and sticky in the summer, and it is flaky and dry in the winter. Using this to wash your face can also beautify your skin. She successfully got along well with a group of middle-aged women and used her eloquence to make them stunned. They all asked where she bought it. How about this? I still have a few pieces. Ants, come to my house, and I will cut a small piece for each of you to use. If you like it, I will find a way to get more for you, and it will be cheaper. When I bought this, it cost me more than 10 cents a piece. Su Wan just said, you can't catch a wolf without sacrificing a child. If there is such a good deal to be made, the ants would take it for nothing. So, after washing the clothes, a large group of people followed Su Wan to her house with wooden basins to get the goat milk soap. She also called He Jialon to go with them. He Jialon thought that Su Jing was also at home at this time, so she wanted to go and see him. Several brothers were drying millet, boiling lard, and making lye water at home when they saw Su Wan coming back with so many people and distributing goat milk soap to them. Each person cut a small piece and left. That small piece was enough for a few days at most. She was calculating with an abacus, and the beads were about to jump on their faces. Ants, remember to come to me if you need it. I will give you a friendly price, which is absolutely affordable. Okay, sister of the Su family, we will come to you if we find it useful. The ants left happily. He Jialon and Chuning Hong were there, and they also cut a small piece for them. The two came to see their loved ones. He Jialon took the goat milk soap and went to talk to Su Jing, asking some random questions. Su Jing acted very cold and deliberately kept a distance from her. He Jialon was not so shameless to put her face in the cold ice, so she left disappointed. Chuning Hong took the goat milk soap and rolled her eyes at Su Wan. You are such a prodigal son. How can you give away something you spend your own money for free? If it were Yeya, she would not be like you. She is the most thrifty. It was a typical example of being soft-hearted and finding faults with others. Su Wan was unwilling to indulge her and snatched back the goat milk soap. If you don't like it, give it back to me. Goodbye, I won't see you off. She raised her head and left proudly, making Chuning Hong very angry. She also liked the small piece of goat milk soap. It felt good and smelled good. But it was just a compliment. She had to give it a stab. In the afternoon, she went to get the molds back. There were 3 sets of molds in total. One mold could produce 20 pieces. The molds were removed every 3 days. She planned to go to the grocery store in 6 days. I guess the boss lady was getting impatient by then. This time, 10 kilograms of lard could produce 200 pieces of goat milk soap. They were made into squares with auspicious patterns. In the middle were 3 words: mainland wealth, flowers and prosperity, and everything goes well. Just put your own seal on it. I bought a stack of oil paper, and after removing the goat milk soap from the mold, I used the oil paper to fold it neatly and beautifully, like wrapping a gift box. Several brothers came to help. They didn't know how to fold them at first, so Soo-won taught them one by one. The goat milk soap folded like this is really beautiful, but the oil paper is too ordinary. It would be better if it could be a little more fancy. This is Soo-yi's feeling. He always feels that it is quite neat to wrap it like this, but it is too monotonous. Then, if fifth brother has any ideas, just let him know. Soo-won probably guessed his idea. In the original book, fifth brother is an excellent painter. Later he became a master of painting. Each of his paintings is worth a fortune and has a very high collection value. It is so difficult to find a painting. He should want to draw something on it. I think you can draw some pictures of ladies on it. Simple ones are fine. In this way, it will be tasteful and look more expensive. If fifth brother likes it, then draw it. Just follow fifth brother's own ideas. Soo-won's support was so direct that Soo-yi felt a little unconfident. Sister Won-won, do you think I can draw well? What if the painting is ruined? It's okay, fifth brother. If the painting is ruined, just rewrap it. We have plenty of oil paper. Soo-won smiled brightly. Not at all like deliberately saying nice things to coax him. Sister Won-won trusts me so much? If my own family doesn't trust me, who else can I trust? Fifth brother, just do what you like. Life is short. If you can't even do what you like, it's too boring. Soo-won's words made Soo-yi feel warm in his heart and laughed from the bottom of his heart. I'll go get the pen and ink. I've seen the paintings of the fifth brother. One day, he casually drew a plum blossom on my paper. The painting was lifelike. It shows that he is talented. Soo-jin got up and went to the room to get the pen and ink. Soo-yi felt that this feeling of being unconditionally supported by his family was really good. He began to draw on the goat milk soap, simple ladies, simple outlines, sometimes a peony, sometimes a peach blossom, and sometimes a lotus bud. However, he painted each one very vividly, just like what Soo-jin said, lifelike. For the first time, Soo-won knew what it meant to write like a god. This is a gifted talent. Fifth brother, this is God chasing you to feed you. Not everyone has such a talent. If you cultivate it, you will definitely achieve something in the future. Soo-won's words made Soo-yi pause again. He suddenly remembered that before, he took a branch and drew a dragon on the ground. Yaya was watching beside him and praised the painting. Fifth brother, do you like painting?
Soo-yin nodded.
He liked painting since he was a child. He painted everything he liked on the ground, and he was self-taught and painted very well. It's just that the family is in financial difficulty. Reading and literacy have become a problem. Where can I get spare money to buy quality brushes? Yeah, I like it. But fifth brother, our family is so poor that we can't even afford paper, pens, and paints. I know, I just like it, and I won't eat it. Hearing this, Soo-yi was actually a little disappointed. Being poor means you can't do what you like. Fifth brother is so smart. He will be great at other things in the future. Guyu grew up in the countryside after all, and her vision was not good. She thought that painting had no future. Won-won, do you really think this can make a living? Soo-yi really wanted to hear Soo-won's thoughts. Why not? Our country has always valued literature. The current emperor particularly likes painting. Our Jin country is an elegant country. The most elegant things are music, chess, calligraphy, painting, poetry, and songs. If you are good at painting, if you meet a good mentor, you will become famous overnight and become a great scholar in the literary world. A painting is worth thousands or tens of thousands of gold. Why can't it be used to make a living? Besides, fifth brother is so talented. Many great scholars have achieved their achievements through hard work and experience. People still need to have ideals and goals, even if they start from a low point. With 3 points of talent and 10 points of hard work, they can still achieve great things. And those who achieve great things are never particular about details. Haha. Well said. Wanwan's vision is extraordinary. Su Jing felt that Suwan's words were really good. With 3 points of talent and 10 points of hard work, those who achieve great things are not particular about details. Sui smiled and continued to paint. The children raised by this wealthy family did have a broader vision and ideas, but there is no doubt that these words comforted Sui. She was right. What's wrong with a low starting point? We have talent, and with hard work, how can we not have a bright future? Now is the 3rd day. After taking off the first batch of molds, a total of 60 goat milk soaps have been produced. The second mold will be made immediately. In 3 days, they will be able to go to the county. Suwon also made dozens of goat milk soaps in bamboo tubes, cut them into round blocks, and wrapped them in oil paper. On this day, more than a dozen aunties from the village came to Won to buy soap. This soap is really easy to use. Not only does it make clothes clean, but after washing your face, your skin becomes tender and fragrant, and your hands are also smooth after washing. They feel that a piece of soap for a dozen cents can be used for a month or so. It was quite worthwhile. Last time, Suwon said that she would give them a lower price, so they discussed and came to buy it. Suwon had already prepared it. She was going to sell them this goat milk soap at 10 coins apiece. The slices were not that thick, so they would continue to buy after they were used up. It was also a long-term business, and she could make a little money. There were a total of 15 aunts, and each bought a piece, which was 150 coins. This money came easily, and it was a sure win. 5 caddies of lard could make 100 yuan, and 10 coins apiece was 10 taels of silver. The cost was not high, only 50 or 60 coins, which was a huge profit. One piece would last at least a month. If it was only used for washing clothes, but one piece was used for washing face and hands, it would be faster. If it sold well, and the market demand was large, she would make more money. 6 days later, 120 pieces of goat milk soap were made. Now it was 10 days before the month, and there were 20 days left. I hope to save up 30 taels in time. I packed it in a basket and prepared to take it to the county. This time, Su Jing asked Su Mu to go with Suwon. He planned to let the brothers spend some time alone with their sister to improve their relationship. It has been more than 20 days since he came back, but they are not as unfamiliar as before. He found that Suwon is like a little sun, emitting light and heat everywhere. She can give fair comments on Suyun's cooking, and she can encourage Su-yi to not feel inferior when he draws. Su-mu doesn't like to talk, so she will take the initiative to talk to him. Su-chun is more honest, so she will tease the third brother from time to time. Only with herself, she is particularly well-behaved and respectful. The two of them took a bullock cart and carried a load of goat milk soap to the county. On the road, a horse carriage came towards them. Suwon recognized it as the Gu family's carriage at a glance, but the carriage was too fast and did not notice them. When they arrived in the county, they went straight to the grocery store last time. When she came in, the proprietress saw her eyes lit up and immediately walked out from the counter. "Oh, my aunt, you are finally here. How long have I been waiting for you?" She used the goat milk soap herself and found it very useful. She also sold it to her customers, who responded very well and said they wanted to buy more. The neighbors recommended it to each other, and dozens of pieces were ordered at once. People in the county were not short of this little money, so she had a hunch that the goat milk soap must be easy to sell, and it was a good business opportunity to make money. "Why have you decided to talk business with me?" Suwon raised her eyebrows, and she was already secretly happy in her heart. Yes, I didn't recognize the great man that day and neglected you, the god of wealth. So, did you bring any goat milk soap today? Many of my customers have ordered it and have urged me several times. The proprietress changed her expression much faster than turning a page of a book. "Yes, how much do you want?"
Suwon asked.
"Give me 300 yuan first, and see how much you want to charge. I sell it for 15 cents apiece." The proprietress didn't know how to price the goat milk soap, so she just set a price at random, which was just what Suwon expected. 12 cents a piece, no bargaining. The raw materials are all from me. That's also the cost. I sell it here. You make 3 cents a piece, a huge profit, nothing to lose, just a little bit of shouting. She made it clear at once. Anyway, no one else can make this goat milk soap except her. If she thinks it's too little, she will go find someone else, and there are many people willing to buy it. She has already seen the business opportunity, and it's her business, whether to invest or not. 12 cents a piece? Girl, are you kidding me? Are you going to let others make money? How smart the proprietress is. She expected it to be 8 cents. She wants 300 yuan, and she only makes 9 taels of silver, which is too little. It's okay. If you don't want to, I'll go talk to someone else. Anyway, I have time. Besides, my goat milk soap has many different formulas and can be made into different shapes, colors, and fragrances. The effects are also different. It will definitely be very popular among those rich ladies. Suwon didn't hesitate and turned to leave. The proprietress was itching to do it, so she gritted her teeth and agreed. It's only been a few days, and she has already ordered dozens of yuan. These 9 taels are also money. It would be a waste if she didn't miss it. With more dealings, she will naturally earn more. Moreover, she is the only one in the store. When there are more people, she can sell other things by the way, which is also a profit. Okay, I promise you, 12 cents. I was really impressed that she was being manipulated by a little girl who hadn't even grown all her hair. Suwon originally thought of 10 cents, but now she has 2 cents more for 1 yuan. Okay, it's a deal. I only have 120 yuan here for now. The rest will be brought to you in a few days. By then, you can pay the remaining 180 yuan for the goat milk soap, okay? Okay, that's fine too. Bring it in for me to check. The boss lady has already agreed anyway. 120 yuan is 14 taels of silver and 40 coins. It really hurts, but I've tried my best. As long as I can make money, it doesn't matter. She dares to guarantee that this thing will sell very well, and the kind that is in short supply. If you think about it in a different way, it will be much more comfortable.
Sumu didn't go in.
He was slow to warm up, and he didn't have any conversation with Suwon along the way. Suwon asked him to carry the goat milk soap in, and he went out again after he finished. This second brother has a very cold temper. He should be the most difficult to get along with. The boss lady took a look and found that these goat milk soaps had been packaged, and there were all kinds of beautiful simple patterns, ladies' pictures, and various flowers on the oil paper of each package, which were very delicate and beautiful. Oh, this oil paper is folded beautifully, and the flowers on it are also beautiful. I can see that you put a lot of thought into it. Of course, how can you make money without putting in effort? The knife was on his neck, and he was very anxious, Suwon thought. You count, a total of 120 yuan, and I will send you the remaining 180 in a few days. Okay. Seeing how carefully the goat milk soap was packaged, the lady boss accepted it and happily paid the money. 14 taels and 40 coins. Since we have made a deal, I think we also need to sign a receipt. You can't do business with other companies in the future. I will accept all the soaps you send me. How about that? The lady boss was worried that the money would be taken away by others. Okay, write it. Suwon agreed very straightforwardly.
It was just a contract.
It was not like she couldn't read. The document was written very simply, very clear, and easy to understand. The only thing was that she couldn't do business with other people. She just had to sign with her fingerprint after reading it. Suwon's calligraphy was really evil to the extreme. The chicken-like handwriting was eye-catching. The proprietress looked at her signature, her appearance, and her cleverness. They didn't match, did they? She took the money and left. She hurried to buy materials. 10 pounds of pig fat. She went to the grain and oil store and took a look around. She saw almond oil for sale. This oil can also be used to make soap. The smell is not too strong. If it is mixed with flower oil, it can have a floral scent. It can be made into many different colors. If you add some other materials, it is a real face washing soap. Almond oil is not delicious when used for cooking, so it is not expensive. You can buy 1 caddy for 8 coins, and I bought 5 caddies. Then I bought a lot of dried flowers, ground them into powder, and used them for coloring. I just don't know where to find fresh flowers. It would be great if I could pick some to extract flower dew. Almond oil has no smell and is not delicious when used for cooking, but it is very good for making essential oils. The ancient distillation method may not be easy to master, but it can be used as soaking oil. You can also add some Chinese herbal ingredients that are good for the skin to the soap, which will make it more advanced. I spent 1 tael of silver and 40 coins at once, and I still have 13 taels left. The next time I send 180 goat milk soaps, I will have 30 taels. Look, second brother, we can collect 30 taels soon, and there will be some left over. We can go find a carpenter to make a few more molds. Seeing her take out a bag of silver like presenting a treasure, she smiled so brightly. Su Mu was infected by her and couldn't help but smile. This silver was all her credit, and as a brother, she felt a little ashamed that she couldn't help. Well, you're great. Although Su Mu was a little perfunctory, Su Wan was very satisfied. Slowly, she would be loved by all of them. Get out of the way. As she was walking on the road, she suddenly heard the sound of hurried horse hooves from behind. A man wearing a Fong mask and a purple robe was riding his horse in the street. The common people on the road and the vendors doing business were affected, and things were scattered all over the ground in the chaos. There were several horses chasing him from behind. The men in black, wearing black turbans, were trying their best to catch up, and they also injured several people. Su Wan turned around and saw that the man on horseback was about to hit her. Su Mu quickly pulled her to her side, and the masked man immediately pulled the reins, not wanting to hurt innocent people. The horse's hoof was about to fall. Su Wan was shocked, and before she could react, the masked man had whipped the whip again and sped away. The people behind were still chasing after her, holding scimitars and long swords in their hands. You're crazy. You will go to jail for riding a horse in the street. It was mentioned in the original book that Jin State did not allow riding a horse in the street, which could easily injure the lives of the people. Once it happened, the person would be imprisoned in serious circumstances. Are you okay? Su Mu asked her from behind. Su Wan turned around and shook her head. She was fine. It's okay, second brother, let's go out of the city and go home. Can we walk back today? It's still early, the work has been done, and old Hong Tu will be home in the afternoon, so I can only walk home first. I'll go to the clinic first and ask something. He was an apprentice in the clinic and wondered if there was any lack of herbs. When he had time, he would go to the mountains to pick some herbs to sell to supplement the family income. So the brother and sister went to the clinic where Su Mu worked to ask. He had a month's leave for the busy farming season, and it was not yet time. After finding out that there was a lack of herbs such as Sapochnikovia divaricata, Panax nodo ginseng, and Blatilla striata, he had a direction in his mind. Before leaving, Su Wan took him to eat noodles. The Su brothers rarely spent money on eating outside. Sometimes when they had noodles, it was just a bowl of vegetarian noodles, but Su Wan ordered a bowl of meat noodles for her. No, vegetarian noodles will do. What's so delicious about vegetarian noodles, boss? I want meat noodles. Vegetarian noodles only cost 5 cents, but meat noodles cost 8 cents, and there was not much meat. Second brother, we are making money now, can't we reward ourselves? I'm treating you. Don't save money for me. It's not easy for you to earn some money, but you still have to think about paying off the family's debts. We can't help you in any way, and it's not appropriate to spend your money. He was still very unfamiliar, and this distant tone made Su Wan feel uncomfortable. Second brother, are we a family? Why do we have to have different opinions? Or, in your heart, I have never been considered your family? Su Wan's tone was lost, and this made Su Mu's heart skip a beat. It's hard to say what he felt, just a little panicked. It's nothing, don't think too much. He didn't intend to explain and just brushed it off lightly. The meat powder was served, and the brother and sister ate it in silence, then walked out of the city and went home. In the woods, Jiang Yu was chased all the way, and all kinds of hidden arrows attacked him, and almost every move wanted his life. While dodging, the horse's leg was shot, and he was forced to fall off the horse. Several men in black appeared in front of him, and together with several men in black riding horses behind him, they surrounded him in the middle. There was no way in and no way to retreat, so he could only fight to the death. Who sent you here, Jiang Yan or Yu Wushang? Don't care who it is, they are here to take your life. After saying that, several men in black jumped off their horses and rushed towards Jiang Yu together with the ones in front. In the woods, only the sound of swords clashing and the sound of flesh being cut could be heard. Those who came this time were all top masters. How much did the people behind the scenes want him to die? It takes an hour to get back to Yang'ao from the county town. Su Wan and Su Mu walked slowly, carrying things on their shoulders. In such a hot day, Su Mu had a thin layer of sweat on his forehead. It was about a mile away from returning to Yang'ao. On the way, they would pass a land temple. From time to time, villagers from several villages near this land temple would come to pay homage and pray for a good harvest in the coming year and a better life. When she passed by there in the past, she didn't feel like going in to take a look, but this time, it was as if there was some kind of magic attracting her, making her unconsciously go inside.
Shuwan?
Su Mu saw her go to the land temple without looking back, and she didn't respond even if he called her, so he could only follow her. The land temple is not big, and there is only one land god enshrined in it. The temple was also built by the nearby villagers with adobe, and it was a bit shabby. When you walked in, there were spider webs on the door. There were a few pools of blood on the ground, which had not yet solidified. Su Wan looked up, and there was nothing inside, but blood was dripping all the way. Following the blood trail, he saw a piece of purple clothing behind the stone statue of the land god. Jiang Yu was seriously injured and was almost in a coma. Hearing someone approaching, he unconsciously clenched the sword in his hand. Almost the moment Su Wan showed her body, the sword stabbed at her. But Jiang Yu was exhausted, and the sword did not stab out after all. Su Wan was frightened and stepped back, kicked a stone, and fell to the ground. The sword fell to the ground with a crisp sound. Su Mu was waiting outside and ran in immediately after hearing the sound. What's wrong? As soon as he came in, he saw Su Wan getting up from the ground. Brother, someone is injured. Su Mu is a doctor, and doctors treat illnesses and save lives. He came over when he heard that someone was injured. The brother and sister saw the masked purple-clothed man leaning against the stone statue and covered in blood. He was the one who was just chased in the street. Is it him? This was the third time they met, and Jiang Yu was still a little sober. He couldn't see with his eyes, but could only hear sounds. In the chaos just now, those people threw a handful of lime at him, which hurt his eyes, and he could only see a small figure vaguely. Do you know him? Su Mu frowned and asked. No, I've seen him a few times and passed by. Su-won had a hunch that this masked man was probably an important NPC. Just now, he ran straight in here as if he was possessed by evil spirits. Su-won approached him and wanted to see his condition, but was stopped by Su-mu. What are you doing? I'm saving him, second brother. You see, he's almost dying. We can't just stand by and watch him die. Su-won pulled her hand out of his hand and squatted down without hesitation. Su-mu actually saw that he was covered with sword wounds, and there was a sword in his hand. With such injuries, he must have encountered some trouble. If he saved him, would it bring trouble to them?
How are you?
Jiang Yu knew that the girl was close to him, and he could still smell a faint milky fragrance from her. He vomited a mouthful of black blood from his mouth, fumbled around his body, and took out a jade token. Judging from the color, it was worth a lot of money. Save me. This is yours. Su-mu stood behind and saw him spit out black blood, and knew at a glance that he was poisoned. At this moment, he could not care less. He squatted down and took a look at the wounds on his body. Only the wound on his chest was bleeding black. He put a little blood under his nose and smelled it. He was sure what kind of poison it was. Su-mu had a very sensitive sense of smell since he was a child. No matter what smells were mixed together or how complicated they were, he could almost tell them apart. A year ago, he met a patient with snake venom in the clinic. He went against the crowd and saved him with his own method. At that time, there was an old man in the clinic who watched the whole scene. He showed him admiration and gave him 2 books. One book was called 100 Poisons Classic, which recorded hundreds of poisons and solutions. They were all written in classical Chinese and were very difficult to understand. There was also a book on poisonous herbs, which recorded the medicinal properties and side effects of poisonous herbs. Now a year has passed, and he has already memorized them. The poison that the masked man was poisoned with was the seven-star begonia. Seven-star begonia is a poison that can pierce the intestines and stomach, pierce the heart, and dig out the bones. It is an extremely torturous poison. After taking it, within 12 hours, you will be slowly tortured to death until you turn into a pool of blood. I took his pulse and found that the poison had been controlled. It was obvious that the medicine he took delayed the toxicity. The poison has not yet taken effect, and there is still a glimmer of hope. However, there are more than 30 kinds of medicinal materials needed to detoxify the seven-star begonia, and some of them are precious herbs. It is not easy to buy them. At least the county pharmacy does not have them, so you have to go to the state capital. How is it, second brother, can you save him? Su-won looked at him from the side. Su-mu did not say anything and continued to check other wounds on his body. With more than a dozen sword wounds and a severe poison, it is a miracle that you still have a breath.
You are lucky.
I can detoxify this poison, but you are unlucky. The herbs for detoxification cannot be gathered in a short time. The medicinal properties of this medicine can buffer for up to 6 hours. If there is no antidote after 6 hours, you will die. This jade token is worth 1,000 gold coins. If you save me, I will definitely reward you handsomely afterwards. Jiangyu's desire to survive was still very strong. He couldn't die now. There were still many things to do. It's not a matter of money. Some medicines are not available in the county. If you want to go to the state capital, the round trip will take at least a day. Your poison is temporarily under control, but if it is not cured in 6 hours, even if the immortals on land come, they can't save you. Su-mu stood up, as if there was no other way. It's not that he didn't want to save him, nor was it for the money. He could only blame his bad luck. Su-won bit her lip. There was always a voice in her heart reminding her that she couldn't let him die. She had to save him. She had to save him. What's your name? Su-won looked into his eyes through the mask, but she couldn't see clearly. Jiangyu also tried to open his eyes to look at her, not letting himself fall asleep, although he couldn't see clearly.
Jiang.
You hearing this name, Su-won's heart skipped a beat. Jiangyu, is he the Jiangyu she knew? The you met? She asked again, with a questioning tone. He just hummed softly, and Su-won's pupils dilated instantly. Jiangyu, the second male lead in the book, has a dual identity and is also her favorite character in the whole book. In the book, he is a good helper of the male lead and a person who supports him. He and Guyu met because Guyu saved his life. The first meeting was also in the land temple. The book mentioned that Guyu returned to the village to visit her brothers. Su-mu sent her out of the village and passed by this land temple, where he saved the dying Jiangyu. Because of the life-saving grace, Jiangyu secretly helped her a lot, and later was moved by her intelligence and kindness, and had a male and female love for her. But the female lead was in full swing with the male lead at that time and didn't like him, so he could only guard silently, and then retired sadly and died alone. Jiangyu is a person with a bright and beautiful appearance. He has all the characteristics of the second male lead in the book. He is a typical flower of jailing, plus Bai Yueguang. Reaching out and tearing off the Fong mask on his face, he revealed his pale, yet beautiful and thrilling face. There was blood on the corners of his mouth, and his eyes were red and swollen. The sickly, battle-damaged beauty immediately fascinated Su-won. Brother, we have to save him. We must save him. How to save him? What are you talking about in your sleep? Su-won calmed down and carefully recalled how Guyu saved Jiangyu in the book. Guyu took him back to the Su family despite Su-mu's obstruction, and then asked Su-chen to ride Jiang Hunter's horse to the state capital and save Jiangyu's life at the last moment. Let's take him back first, brother, believe me. He is not a bad person, you're a medical student. How can a doctor watch someone die without saving him? Even if you are only 10% sure, you have to try, right? Please, brother, can you save him? Su-won was too anxious, and spoke in a hurry, with a sincere face changed, but this also made Su-mu hesitate. Yes, he is a doctor. How can a doctor watch someone die without helping? Then he is not a qualified doctor. He did not reply, but went to help Jiangyu with a gloomy face. Because of the pulling of the wound, Jiangyu took a breath of cold air in pain and could not help but groan in pain. At the same time, the atmosphere in the Su family was very joyful because of Guyu's return. When she appeared, she was dressed very richly, with silk and satin on her body, satin-embroidered shoes, and hairpins and jewelry on her head that were so bright that people dared not look directly at her. These were things that Guyu had never dared to think of before. There were servants, grooms, and 2 maids serving her. The scene was really good. The brothers were very happy, but at the same time they also felt the gap between them. They were no longer people of the same level. Suyun felt uncomfortable for a while, but he still enthusiastically circled around Guyu, asking her if she was doing well in the Gu family, if she ate well, and if she slept well. Of course it was good. How could it be bad to have a good life with the stars? Guyu was very proud. When people in the village saw her carriage, they all ran to see her. The feeling of satisfaction was indescribable. I'm fine, 4th brother. I brought gifts for you all, and also for Sister Suwon. By the way, where's Sister Suwon? She came here just for Suwon this time. She must feel very uncomfortable when she fell from the branch all of a sudden. It was what she deserved. Who let her enjoy it for so many years in vain? Although she knew it was not Suwon's fault, she had lived the life that originally belonged to her for 13 years. The more she thought about it, the more unbalanced she felt. Maybe she and Mrs. Gu were worthy of being mother and daughter, and they had the same ideas. However, she did not show her unhappiness, but looked considerate, well-behaved, and sensible. Oh, she went to the county with my 2nd brother. She went to the market, and will be back in the afternoon. Suyun was interrupted by Su Jing before he finished speaking. He didn't want Guyu to know that they were raising money to pay off their debts. He borrowed the money for Guyu. She suddenly fell ill, had a high fever, and kept coughing. She took a lot of medicine, but it didn't get better. Finally, she had to go to the state government for treatment. But she had no money, so she had to borrow money. Who knew the interest rate was so high? It seems that the brothers and sister Suwon get along very well. She said this sourly, and Suyun immediately came to coax her. Yeah, in our hearts, you will always be our beloved sister. He was a complete sister control for Guyu, and it was impossible for him to give up his feelings for her so quickly. Guyu brought them several pieces of high-quality cloth to buy clothes, bought a very good inkstone for Su Jing, and a wolf hairbrush, worth 100 taels. Bought a lot of expensive cakes for Su Yun. In her eyes, Su Yun was only interested in eating and drinking. And the paints bought for Su Yi, for his painting, were all high-quality goods. She thought she had already catered to his preferences, but she didn't know that when she gave these things, she only brought pressure to her brothers. Seeing those paints, Su Yi just smiled and said nothing. She didn't support him before because she felt that he didn't have the conditions. Now that she has become successful, what's the point of doing these things again? Is it a way to give them a jujube after hitting them with a stick? Is it to tell these brothers about the gap between them? Su Yi's mind is particularly sensitive. He is deep-minded and thinks a lot. After Guyu came back, except for Su Yun, the attitude towards her did not change. The other brothers changed. The eldest brother was very cold, the 3rd brother was not there, and Su Yi stayed away. Su Chun went to Jiang Hunter and didn't know that Guyu was back. Guyu's hands were clenched tightly. It's only been a few days, and except for Su Yun, everyone has rebelled. When Chen Hong heard that Guyu was back, she immediately ran over happily. "Hey, you are finally back. I missed you so much." She came up and hugged Guyu. She was covered in dust after just finishing farm work. She couldn't suppress her disgust on her face, but she endured and didn't push her away. "Inghong, long time no see." Chun Inghong hadn't realized that her former good sister began to dislike her. She came back without telling Madame Gu, who was very resistant to her daughter's contact with the Su family, fearing that her daughter would think about that little bit of ease and be deceived by them to help them. Finally, she left on time, without waiting for Su-mu and Su-chin to come back. She just wanted to come back to discuss Su-won and let her know that even if she left, her brothers would only stand on her side. As a result, Su-won was not there. She came back empty-handed and could only go back unwillingly. When she left, Su-jing returned all the things she brought. "Brother, this is specially selected for you. Why don't you want it? And fifth brother, don't you love painting the most? Take it back, yeah. If Madame Gu knows, she will be unhappy. You just returned to the Gu family. Don't make your parents sad."
Soo-jin refused tactfully.
He was telling the truth and didn't want to give anyone a chance to criticize him. "Yes, Sister Guyu, we are all rough people. We can't afford such good things. Take it back." Although Su-yi smiled gently, his words were like thorns, which made Guyu feel very uncomfortable. Guyu left with a heart full of sourness and just missed Su-mu and Su-won and helped the injured Jiangyu back. They were afraid that the villagers would gossip, so they took the mountain road back. Su-jing and the others had just sent Guyu away when they saw the brother and sister bringing back a person covered in blood. Su-chin also came back at the right time. "Second brother, Wan-wan, what are you doing?" "Brother, human life is at stake. Help get the person in." Su-won couldn't explain so much at once. When she saw Su-chin coming back, it was like she saw a savior. "Third brother, go borrow the horse from Hunter Jiang and go to the provincial capital. I'll ask my second brother to write you a prescription. Go get the medicine." She gave the bag of silver she had just received to Su-chin. Before Su-chin could figure out the situation, he was drafted into the army. "How do you know Hunter Jiang has a horse? His focus is really strange."
"Ah.
"I heard from the aunt in the village that you should go quickly, otherwise he will be gone if you are late." She didn't want anything to happen to her white moonlight, the second male lead, and he was so handsome. If he died, wouldn't it be a waste of nature, a gift? Several people worked together to move the person to the room where the brothers slept. Jiangyu was tense until he lay down and made sure that he was safe. Then he relaxed. Su-won was the last one to step into the room. He only saw a small, somewhat blurry figure. After that, he fainted completely. "Second brother, write the prescription quickly." Su-won hurriedly brought paper and pen to Su-mu. He was very anxious, but Su-mu was not in a hurry and had to write the prescription neatly and beautifully. "Second brother, hurry up. Why are you in such a hurry? You have to be serious in everything you do. You can't eat hot tofu in a hurry." Su-mu also realized that this girl and this man named Jiangyu have a special relationship. Otherwise, why is she so nervous around a strange man? Finally, the prescription was written, and Su-chin had already led the horse over. He went to Jiang the hunter's house and came back to say that he needed a horse to go to the provincial capital. Jiang the hunter lent him the horse without saying a word. "This is a Fergana horse that can travel 1,000 miles a day. You have to take it easy. This is Jiang the hunter's great treasure, and he values it very much." If it weren't for the fact that he was his apprentice who he had taught for so many years, he would not have been willing to part with it. Su-chin is an honest and hardworking child. He has a high level of comprehension in martial arts and is a promising talent. Su-won gave him the prescription and asked him to keep it properly. "Third brother, you must return with the medicine within 5.5 hours. This concerns a life, and we can't be careless. In such a hurry, it seems that the situation is urgent." Su-chin didn't ask any more questions, took the prescription and got on the horse, and immediately went towards the provincial capital. Looking at his leaving figure, Su-won took a deep breath. Jiangyu was the second male lead in the original novel. He survived this hurdle in the book, and he should be fine this time. However, the person who saved him changed from Guyu to her. After saving Jiangyu this time, he will owe her a favor in the future, and he will have a trump card for his future actions. If she fails to get the approval of everyone as in the original novel, this may be a life-saving card. Guyu was seriously ill at the time, and Su-mu had just started studying medicine, so he couldn't help much. Now, some commonly used herbs at home medicine is always on hand. There are many people in the family. How can they not get sick if they eat all kinds of grains? This is also for emergency use. There are many herbs for stopping bleeding, and they are also very common. Sumu helped Jiangyu clean the wound alone and ground the dried hemostatic herbs into powder and sprinkled it on the wound to stop the bleeding. He also asked Su Yun to boil a dose of Chinese medicine and give it to him later. It is hot today, and if the wound is not treated in time, it will easily become inflamed. He has 13 sword wounds of varying sizes, deep or shallow, in various parts of his body, especially on his back, which is the most serious. The most serious thing is that he was poisoned. External injuries can heal, but if the poison is not resolved, I am afraid his death will be very ugly. During this period, no one else could help.
Su Ging, Su Yi, and Su Wan waited outside.
Su Jing had time to ask Su Wan a reason. Wan, where did you rescue this person? He was injured so badly and was poisoned. Judging from his clothes and appearance, he is definitely not an ordinary person. You brought him back rashly. Do you know if he has enemies? What should we do if they continue to seek revenge? We found him in the land temple at the entrance of the village. When we came back, we deliberately walked through the back mountain. No one saw us bringing him back. Don't worry for the time being.
Su Wan answered truthfully.
But our family is in such a difficult situation. It is a burden to rashly rescue such a seriously injured person. Although saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda, the family is already in a difficult situation and owes a lot of debts. Now there is another injured person. Eating, taking medicine, and seeing a doctor are all expenses. Don't worry, brother, we are not working in vain. He will pay for the medical expenses later. He also pledged the jade card to us. You see, this jade is of excellent quality and worth a fortune. We are not losing out. Su Wan took out the jade token that Jiangyu gave her and showed it to Su Jing. Su Jing looked at her and shook his head helplessly. You can't just take such a precious thing. Oh, forget it. I've brought the person back. Can I still drive a dying person away? I don't ask him to repay us when he gets better in the future, but I ask him not to bring trouble to our family. Just consider it as a good deed. Su Jing's character in the original work is upright and incorruptible. He can distinguish right from wrong. Even if his own sister made a mistake, he had to admit it and would never show favoritism or corruption. Su Wan secretly breathed a sigh of relief, but the next words of Su Yi made her heart rise again. This man is extraordinary. Seeing that Sister Wan is so concerned about his safety, could it be that you two know each other?
Su Yi is still Su Yi.
The questions he asks are always so sharp that people can't guard against them.
Ah.
I know him, but he doesn't know me. Does it count as knowing each other? She was not wrong. That's what happened. After Su Wan said this, the two brothers started to imagine it, but their ideas coincided. My daughter has grown up, and at the age of 13, she has reached the age of engagement. It is normal for her to fall in love with such a graceful man with a divine face like a god. There is nothing I can do about you. Su Jing shook his head helplessly. Su Mu found that Jiangyu's eyes were injured by lime, so he cleaned them with a handkerchief, boiled a mild potion, washed him again, then applied the potion and covered him with a black cloth. The eyes cannot see the light for the time being, so they have to be covered. The external injuries have been treated, but he has lost too much blood and is now very weak. He is really hanging on there. And Su Chun has a good BMW, which runs much faster than ordinary horses. It should not be difficult to get the medicine and rush back in 5.5 hours without any delay. Su Wan is anxious. She was getting irritated, but she could only worry about it, so she found something to do and started to boil lard and grind dried flowers for coloring. Less than 2 hours after the wound was treated, Su Yu began to have a fever, and the fever did not subside. His forehead was so hot that he could fry an egg. Su Mu started to boil antipyretic medicine again. The whole Su family courtyard was filled with a strong smell of meat mixed with a smell of medicine. Although she was concerned about Jiangyu's safety, Su Wan couldn't really help. On the one hand, she couldn't miss her business, as she had to deliver 180 bars of soap to the grocery store.
Su Ving, Su Yun, and Su Yi helped her.
They saw that she had done it twice before and almost understood the process. Su-yi went to after burning enough wood ash. Su-yun had to go to the carpenter to customize a few more sets of molds so that the process would be faster and the goods could be delivered as soon as possible. The agreed time was still a long way off, and 30 taels of silver should be enough in time. Let his eldest brother take care of the lard boiling, while Su-won was going to make flower oil for soaking. He bought dried roses, peonies, and roselle, which could be mixed together for soaking. Some of them could be ground into pollen for coloring, and the other part could be used for soaking. After repeated soaking and pressing, the fragrance would come out in 3 or 4 days. There were several osmanthus trees planted at the hunter Jiang's house, and Su-won was going to take a bamboo basket to pick fresh osmanthus flowers and bring them back for soaking. Almond oil. Usually, only the rich and powerful would plant osmanthus. Few people planted flowering trees in rural areas, especially in ancient rural areas, because osmanthus represents nobility and taste. But Uncle Jiang is not an ordinary person. The big guys all pursue quality. She remembered that the book said that Uncle Jiang's family planted several osmanthus flowers. Every autumn, Su-chan often picked flowers and brought them back to fumigate Guyu's clothes. Guyu wrapped the osmanthus flowers with cloth and stuffed them into the closet. This is a natural incense bag. As the heroine, she is really creative. Hunter Jiang had just laid down on his recliner, ready to take a nap and drink some tea. But not long after he felt comfortable, someone knocked on the door again. Who is it? Uncle Jiang, I'm Su-won from the Su family. Hearing the voice of the little girl outside, Jiang the hunter was a little puzzled. Could something big happen in his apprentice's family? He went back and forth today and borrowed the horse. It seemed urgent, and now not long ago, his little sister came again. Jiang the hunter's courtyard is the only one in the village with a blue brick wall. It is very spacious inside because he usually practices swordplay in the courtyard. It looks ordinary from the outside, but you can clearly smell a strong fragrance of osmanthus, which is the famous golden osmanthus. The courtyard is very elegant. In addition to osmanthus, there are also peach trees. There are also potted plants planted on the courtyard wall. When spring comes and the peach blossoms bloom, you can see the peach blossoms blooming on the branches when you stand outside. Did something happen in your family? You and your brother came here one after another. First you borrowed a horse, and now what's the matter? Girl, just tell me. I will definitely help if I can. If he doesn't love his own apprentice, who will? It's okay. I just want to buy some things that are only available in the state capital. I came here to pick some osmanthus flowers from your house. Is that okay? Su-won explained the purpose of his visit. Hunter Jiang remembered that his apprentice would pick osmanthus flowers to bring back for his sister to fumigate her clothes at this time every year. Could it be that this new sister is going to follow suit? You want to use it to fumigate your clothes? No, I use it to make flower oil. Su-won didn't like the scent of osmanthus. It was too strong. She preferred hibiscus. You are amazing. You can also make flower oil. Come in. It sounds like making flower oil is more tasteful than fumigating clothes. Before Su-won went in to pick flowers, she gave Jiang Hunter a piece of soap, complete and uncut. Anyway, life is endless. Sales are endless. According to the previous rhetoric, she gestured to him again. He was stunned, and also to thank him for lending her horse. She couldn't let others know that there was a wounded person at home. Jiang Yu had many enemies. She was afraid of causing trouble, but if she didn't save him, she would lose a guarantee in the future. After picking osmanthus flowers, she wanted to go and see Jiang Yu, but Sumu didn't let her, saying that there was a difference between men and women. He was not wearing clothes at the moment, and his body was bandaged. It was against the rules for her, an unmarried girl, to come in. Su-won only knew that he was still running a fever, and the situation was not optimistic. 6 hours had passed, and half of it was over. There was no rush. I hope Su-chan will be fine. Su-chan had already arrived at the prefecture. In order to avoid running around, he went directly to the largest medicinal food hall in the prefecture to avoid the trouble of missing this or that. He got all the medicine back at once, and spent 10 taels of silver. He rode back at full speed. He bought himself a few meat pies to replenish his energy and quickly went to the inn to feed the horse. Only when both the man and the horse were full and satisfied could they continue on their way. It was getting darker, and it was already midnight. Jiangyu had only half an hour left before the poison took effect, but Su Chen had not returned yet. He had to boil medicine later, which was really anxious. Jiangyu's lips and eyes had begun to turn black, and spider-web-like black lines appeared on his neck. Su Wan's goat milk soap was already made. She also made 2 kilograms of lard soap with almond oil and used pollen to adjust the color, making dozens of water-red goat milk soaps. She sat at the door with her chin in her hand waiting. Although Jiangyu was fine in the original novel, her arrival was an exception, and there might be changes. The whole family couldn't sleep, all waiting, and the others didn't want someone to die in the family. Su Jing waited with her. Seeing her worried face, he didn't know how to comfort her. Finally, when there was only half an hour left, the sound of horse hooves was heard. Su Chen came towards the moonlight. The continuous horse racing had rubbed the skin on his thighs. Third brother. Seeing Su Chen return, Su Wan quickly stood up to greet him. Su Chen's chin moved quickly and handed the medicine bag to Su Jing, who took it to boil it for Su Mu. Everything was ready. Su Mu put the medicine directly into the pottery jar and checked it again. Human life was at stake. It was also the first time in his life that he had to detoxify. As an apprentice in the clinic, he had no chance to see patients and could only do odd jobs. Now he had such a good opportunity to hone his skills, so he should take it seriously. After a day of running around, Su Wan rolled a big bowl of noodles for his third brother, which was full of meat. Third brother, you've worked hard. You must be hungry. Eat something to fill your stomach. The noodles smelled delicious. Su Chen couldn't wait and didn't forget to return the remaining silver to her. There were more than 3 taels left, and 10 taels were used to buy medicine. The medicine on the prescription was complicated and expensive. Su Chen took the first bite. The noodles were very chewy after kneading the noodles well. The soup was made with meat, which added a lot of fragrance. It was the first time he had eaten noodles with so much meat in his life. Thank you, Sister Wanwan.
Su Chen showed a sunny smile.
While eating, Su Yun came over after smelling the smell. Seeing such a luxurious bowl of hand-rolled noodles, what else could he do? Su Wan, you actually cooked a special meal for Su Chen and gave him so much meat. I don't care, I want it too. Su Wan couldn't do anything about him. There were still some codes left, so she would make them for him. Okay, I'll go cook it for you after my second brother finishes boiling the medicine. I'll knead the dough first. Su Chen ate all the noodles. Not even a drop of soup was left. Seeing him eating so deliciously, Su Yun's mouth was watering. He watched Su Wan knead the dough eagerly. The dough she kneaded was smooth and flat, and her technique was sophisticated. It really looked like she cooked often. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart that the upbringing of wealthy families is good. Dia must have learned a lot of rules. It's good that way. She can marry a good husband in the future, and she won't be criticized by others. Su Mu finally boiled the medicine. He brought the medicine into the room. Su Wan was eager to know the result. She threw the dough to Su Yun and asked him to roll it into noodles. The toppings and soup base were ready, and they could be eaten after they were cooked. Su Yun was a little helpless, but he didn't know what to say, so he could only do it himself. Second brother, can you let me in to take a look?
Please.
Su Mu was about to enter the room, but was stopped by Su Wan. He looked back at her and saw that she was very anxious. He pursed his lips and finally agreed. Forget it, I just need someone to help me.
Come in.
Su Wan followed happily and saw Jiangyu on the bed. The spider web-like black lines on his neck had spread all over his neck and reached his chin. His lips were all black and looked very scary. Second brother, you just asked me to help you. How can I do it? I'll help him up, and you give him the medicine first. Su Mu handed the medicine bowl to Su Wan, and then he helped Jiangyu up from the bed by himself and let him lean on his chest. He was also very direct. He pinched Jiangyu's chin and asked Su Wan to feed him the medicine. Feed it all to him. Su Wan nodded, and then fed him the medicine spoonful by spoonful. The leaked medicine juice all flowed into the gaps between Su Mu's fingers. After finishing, Su Mu laid him on the bed. "Brother, is this all right?" After drinking the medicine, the black lines on Jiang Yu's neck gradually disappeared. "The last step is to bleed. Go get a bigger bowl." The poison has already entered the blood, so the only way to remove the remaining poison in his body is to bleed. Otherwise, the poison cannot be completely removed. Su Wan obediently went to get the bowl. Su Mu heated the dagger for disinfection and cut his wrist. Instantly, black blood flowed. The poisonous blood began to overflow from his wound until half a bowl of blood flowed. After the black blood turned into normal red blood, he quickly stopped the bleeding and bandaged it. If too much blood is let out, there will be a tingling sensation. Jiang Yu, who was in a coma, showed pain on his face. After taking the pulse of his other hand, Su Mu judged according to what he had learned that he was fine and had passed this level. It's fine, but he will be very weak for a long time, and his eyes are also injured. He was blinded by